So you think Robert's sleeping? Yeah, we'll let him sleep. Oh yeah. Did you hear this? I'm sorry for we usually don't discuss politics, but it just started it up. But I just thought it was hilarious in Michigan here at Ford Field where the Detroit Lions play. Garth Brooks performed and he had a Barry Sanders jersey on. Like almost every frickin' buddy that plays Detroit, because that's the most recognizable like association with, and he's playing in Ford Field where Barry Sanders played. And everyone, all the country music fans, all turned on him thinking he was supporting Bernie Sanders for 2020 because it's the number 20 jersey. So you had people, ignorant people, just assuming that that's what he's standing for, who don't know football, who don't understand, and just assuming that he's making a statement. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Ignorant is the 100% accurate way to describe someone like that. It's like, yeah, yeah. Someone's saying they can't hear you guys. Yeah, what the hell? It's because they can see their icon, but yeah, on the OBS, it's not showing. The audio's not moving, so I'm gonna have to close OBS and
Jesus Christ.
That's why I always open OBS after I start the Hangouts. But I had forgot that I didn't switch the audio back to the normal. So yeah, you guys, they can hear you now.
Cool.
Woo!
Yep. It was just politics stuff. So let's.
You didn't want to hear that shit anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get to know the actual news we have. Oh wait, we don't.
All right. So what's up to Laker Link? We got Unforgiven and Bad Latency and Lenny right here early. And
what's up, bros?
Donnie just joined. So
hey, what's up?
What's
Donnie?
up? Yeah. So we got a few topics. I definitely want to try to get to the questions. 100% this time. And the main topic is we're gonna have the difficult task of try to come up with a.
Y'all gonna try that Final Fantasy 7 demo that came out today?
I didn't know it came out, but we're gonna try to come up with a 2020 lineup for Nintendo as a publisher and developer, based on no information whatsoever. It's gonna be interesting to see. And
so really, it's just like a wish list. It seems like.
No, I think we're gonna try to guess legit. Like we're gonna try to predict it based on no evidence, and I'm gonna actually keep it. Actually, write it down, and keep it so that when we find out what's coming out, we'll see if we got anything right. But first, I wanted to talk about. Well, we had last week. Didn't leave enough time for the main topic, and it got pretty heated. Lots of disagreements. T couldn't hear him for like 20 minutes when I think he probably
more like an hour.
Could have balanced out the discussion a little bit, but one thing that we really didn't.
I fell asleep. You guys are boring me.
We really didn't get to time to like even come to a conclusion. So what I want to ask you guys. And Robert and Clockton aren't here. Robert may be here. We think he's sleeping. Clockton's definitely not going to be here. When do you, actually think the Switch 2 will come out? And B, when do you want it to come out? So just to get an idea where people stand. Because we had a lot of arguing, a lot of back and forth, people saying different things. So at first, when do you actually think Nintendo will release the official Switch 2, the successor? Not a revision, not a DSi, not a new 3DS, but an actual successor. And then when do you think they should? So I'm going to go first, since I just dropped this on you guys out of nowhere. I think they will do November 2022.
God dang it.
That's very specific.
holiday
was mine, all the
2022,
way.
which will be about 6 years, 8 months, or 5 years, 8 months. But if it was me, my decision, I'd say March 2022. Exactly 5 years. I know the Switch is going strong and stuff, but if they didn't, I'm kind of assuming they're not going to do any kind of major revision, but that's all. It's going to be completely up to how you want to answer it. So T.
Well, easy. You took mine all the way down to the month even. So yeah, holiday 2022. That's my guess.
And Lenny says both. And I'll just say real quick the reason for it. There's a lot of reasons, but I mean, there's so many unknowns too. Like if they come out with some kind of revision to add stuff, but if they just think like the standard Switch going five years, you're gonna talk about 10 years of Nintendo consoles with only 32 gigs of storage. Like to me, that just seems incomprehensible, especially when what the competition's gonna be. They're gonna be out 2 years at that point. And I just think they'd have to do something, but I would put out the successor, at least holiday.
That's incomprehensible if Nintendo thought that way. We know they don't think that way.
I know, but
so
because at some point,
is,
I'm just gonna say at some point their games are gonna. I mean, even Zelda Xenoblade's getting close to the 16 gig cart. So a couple years from now, even their games are gonna start getting bigger. So anyway, but yeah, when do you think Nintendo will actually release the successor to the Switch, and when do you, if it's different from when you actually would want them to?
So for me, I think they will release it in 2023, a year beyond what you guys are saying, and I'm basing that off the fact of the games we know are still coming, and the fact that I'm sure there's going to be like a bunch more coming for that. What I would want is, like I said, I think the Switch could go on for a bit. So what I would want, I would probably say something like 2025.
Wow,
that's a long time. And I'm assuming you're thinking they'd put out some kind of pro version or revision in that meantime. You think the current Switch and the Lite.
I'm not even taking that into account. Usually that stuff comes, but I mean, even for the Wii, I think it was only like in the last couple of years, and it finally did that. So I don't expect it. Like I said, I'm just basing my answer off the fact like what I would want because of what the Switch is and what I like about it, and like I said, all the games that are still coming. Like that's kind of why I'm thinking that, because I think it had a good stride and it's just hitting it and. Based on all the shit we still know, like for example, like Shin Megami, Breath of the Wild, Bayonetta, all the stuff we know, still Metroid Prime, all that shit. And I'm pretty sure there's more coming, enough to fill at least 3 years still, like in their calendar. Like I said, for me, it can go on a little bit longer. I think it's going nice and shit. Nintendo's making money. I don't see the point in switching that fast. That's what for me. I say 25.
I think you're right because they only use half the year anyway. So
yeah.
So yeah, they can go another 3 years, which equal actually a year and a half worth of games. Oh.
They just got to release a few ports in the first half, and this is the first time we're getting like a main title in the first half, like major main title. All right, Robert, welcome to the podcast.
Because it got pushed. It was supposed to come out last year, so it wasn't even.
I didn't even hear Robert come in. Damn.
So since last week we got kind of heated and I didn't leave enough time to actually have the full discussion. Just curious when you actually think most likely Nintendo will release the successor to the Switch, and then when do you want them to release it? If it's a different,
I've always kind of thought about like that 2023 spot. I've always felt like that's when the next whatever it be Switch 2, whatever they're gonna do would release. And when do I want? I mean, it's kind of like last time where I don't really particularly need or want either a change or anything. I don't really care. So for I mean, if it was 2023, I'd be cool with it. It was I mean, I know Retro says 2025. I mean, I'd probably be cool with it. I don't think I myself in 5 years I'd be that bad with that either, I mean, as long as there's some decent games coming, I mean, I'm there. And I don't know. I just for now, I've been loving that Switch every day. Been able to bring that shit to work, even I the more I do this, the more I'm like, damn, fuck that power, man. Make a PlayStation 4 portable and an Xbox Series portable. I don't fucking care. Take your titty flops somewhere else, Bray. And like it's for me personally now, it's been helping so much.
And that's
And
gonna
it's like,
work for you for Animal Crossing because I don't know about.
oh, it's gonna. Oh, hell's yeah.
I don't want to start a
Yeah.
whole discussion till we get Terrell's answer, but I can't put in more than 30 minutes into Animal Crossing New Leaf. Like I run out of stuff to do. I know I'm not as far as I probably get some more stuff to do, but that's the type of game I could do on a lunch break. Whereas like Breath of the Wild and stuff, I just felt like that 40 minutes went by so fast and I got nothing
Oh
accomplished.
no, yeah, no, those, yes.
Ah, fuck. I'm back.
Sit out.
I'm back.
Okay.
You pressed the wrong button.
I had to sneeze. I panicked and clicked too early.
Animal Crossing. Ah!
Mike, that's what I do.
But no. So what I was saying is like, with Fire Emblem, those battles could go up to like, I mean, like an hour
Yeah,
plus
exactly.
sometimes, and uh, sometimes like you're like, shit, dude, are fucking it's already the end? Ah, goddamn, I have to pause and wait till next time. But it helps me out,
Yeah.
I mean, with Dragon Quest Builders 2, I was able to beat a lot of it outside of my house. I was like, damn, I don't think about it until like every second really counts, and it really helped.
Yeah, I had to
It
give
really
up
helped.
on taking it to work just because rushing through stuff doesn't work for my play style because everybody plays
No, I
different,
mean, yeah.
some people like to take their time and explore every nook and cranny, and I was just like
Yeah.
feeling like I was pushing myself and missing stuff that wanted to do just because I was trying to get
Well, yeah,
it done.
I wouldn't. I don't. It's obviously it's gonna depend on the game. Like, I don't know if I could really see myself bringing Breath of the Wild 2 like in its early days to work like that.
Maybe if you were like shrine hunting it towards
Yeah.
after the fact, but anyway,
Yeah.
Terrell,
Well,
let's get
for me,
Terrell.
that's more like. But just quickly wanted to add to that still, because like I could take my Switch to work too. For me, it's more that like what Robert used to say. I want to experience that shit like on a big screen. I don't want to rush to something like Zelda, even a Shrine, because I like those more than anything. Like I just need that shit on a big screen.
All right, so I forgot to get Terrell's answer to the.
It's fine. I'm not important. I understand. No, honestly, I've been racking my brain the whole time because if I'm trying to think, the longest handheld generation I believe was the DS to the 3DS, which was about 2005 to 2011, and even that was
Well,
6
it depends
years.
on if you go by Nintendo saying the Switch wasn't a success, or the 3DS went longer until it finally started to go by when the game started stopping, and it actually went like 7 years. I think that's pretty close to the DS, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty close because right now it's at. Well, actually, no, the 3DS is at 9 years because it came out in 2011.
Yeah, but I mean,
But if you
last
count
year
when
was pretty. I mean,
Yeah,
it
if
got
you-
a few
if you count when
ports.
it-
last
yeah,
year.
if you count when it petered out, it's probably like 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm. But their home console's the longest was the Wii, which went
The
6
Wii
years.
lasted from 2006 to 2012 or 11, depending on. A lot of people would say 10, considering how
Nah,
2011
you
was.
can't.
And I didn't even make. I forgot to make this point. The Wii is the main reason. I think the Switch's life needs to be shorter and is going to be shorter. But I'll get into that if you want to give your answer.
Oh yeah. So I think we're at. We just hit 3 years. I think today or tomorrow. I think it's 3 years on the dot.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's tomorrow.
I'm leaning towards 2020. I'm gonna say 2023. It wouldn't surprise me if it came out in 22, but I'm gonna say 2023. When I would want it to come out, I think I'm fine with 2023 too. I don't need it.
You thinking
Like,
March or holiday?
I'm gonna say summer. I'm gonna be reckless and I'm gonna guess summer.
In
'Cause
between.
I think Nintendo is very random in the way it does things sometimes, and it's like because March was never a bad idea, just no one ever tried it. I saw it wouldn't surprise me if they got experimental about when they released their new system. But I'm gonna say it's summer.
All right.
Be like, oh, happy E3, bitch!
It's
Here's
like
your new
movies,
console and all
like-
your games.
Like everybody thought you had to release your movie in the summer for it to do well. Then all of a sudden Christmas became the thing,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden people were like, oh,
Now
you can
February
drop
is
this
a
shitty
thing.
movie in January, in February, and
See,
people will watch it.
And see, I hate guessing this because it's always going to lean on what Nintendo decides to do moving forward. Because you can have a console like the PlayStation 4, which I think had pretty mediocre early years and then kind of hit its stride these last, I want to say 2 years, maybe 3 years or so, especially 2 years. Well, actually 3 because it's 2020 now.
Yeah, I said 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it was like that, and the latter end had some hits at the end, it could bleed its way into 2024. But realistically, Nintendo, unless there's like a revision somewhere later on the road, I can't see them, being a company who wants money, being like that's it. But that's where I'm gonna lean about 6 years. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And like I said about the Wii, and it's not about
I know where you're going, and I agree 100%.
It's not about just the raw graphics or anything. I made this point on Clocked Its video, and he thought I was kind of attacking him, but I'm like, it's not being. No one was bored with the Wii. Well, some people were. A lot of the casuals got bored.
But I think the Wii's the bad example.
But I'm saying, look what Nintendo did with we had Mario Kart Wii, fucking even Skyward Sword was a good game, but they were limited. They even said in development that they wanted it to be the sections to be connected, but they couldn't do it with the Wii. They had to segregate them and have you land. You couldn't just fly down and land. You had to go to a cutscene.
With 88 megabytes of RAM.
Yeah, and it was like they did some amazing things with the Galaxies, and Metroid Prime 3 Retro did some amazing work with the Wii. But at some point, the only way for Breath of the Wild to exist was to move on to a more modern system, because we wouldn't have. I was playing. If you guys watched that upload I did, it was like a 7-minute clip, and when I rewatched it, I was like, look at the way that Link in his horse, the shadow, when you're running through the tall grass, the blades of grass are like cutting in and out of your shadow, and then when you get to the thin grass, then it's like the shadow looks, and it's just a small little detail I didn't notice till I was rewatching it, and I'm like, oh, then the shadow looks so 1-to-1. Usually, most games you get a really crappy shape. I'm talking about on lower end hardware. But just to see what they could do with just the lighting, having real dynamic lighting, having the individual blades of grass and the physics system, I don't think any one of those things could have been done on the Wii. So it's like at some point you have to move on, and then look what we got. We got Mario Kart 8 was just a vast improvement over Mario Kart Wii. And some of that, a lot of that was visual though, but all the little details, Mario's mustache blowing in the wind and the replays and all that. Breath of the Wild, like at some point, the new hardware gives you options to do things that you couldn't do with the old hardware, especially when you barely you didn't make much of a leap. You stayed close to the GameCube level of power, and you started off behind the 8-ball. They did this. The Switch is the same scenario where they barely went over the Wii U. And yeah, you could say, well, Breath of the Wild that's a Wii U game, but everyone who's commented on my videos from the showing clips of the emulation have said how bad it runs on Wii U. I've never played it on Wii U, but they say it runs pretty bad. So technically it runs on Wii U, but it doesn't run well on Wii U. So so I just looking at that point, we got a minor jump. Nintendo's been on this kind of the same level of power now since 2012, so we're already at 8 years. And yeah, they're going to still make great games. Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be amazing. The next 3D Mario game it's going to be amazing. That's not going to change, but I'm looking at what's possible with the Wii U leap, what we got that we don't know what we're missing that Nintendo could possibly deliver. Plus the fact that the Wii ran out of steam after by the 5th year, it was running out of steam.
See, I thought you were gonna go. Well, you kind of went where I thought you were going. But
Yeah, then it was just
my bigger issue. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they just ran out of steam, and a lot of they were getting really showing up. The 360 was hugely popular. You saw games like Gears and Dead Space and Assassin's Creed, and it's just like these games, weren't really possible on the Wii. I mean, you could do some of them, but
No.
I think people were just starting to see. I know myself and some other people I know that had the Wii were just like they moved on to got 360s and PS3s and started moving on to those types of games, and it was just kind of a transition. And I just think that the Switch might run out of steam in the same way the Wii, and I just don't want another Wii situation where you get a year and a half of basically nothing, and then it was just maybe they learned that lesson. But that's kind of my whole stance on where go ahead.
I'm a little different, but I'll let T go first.
Well, my thing was, you definitely got points there as far as that goes. And it's funny because I thought early on when they first showed off the Wii that it was HD. Like I remember thinking, oh look, Wii Sports looks pretty clean. Obviously, the character models aren't like anything crazy, but I thought it was clean. I thought it was an HD console, and that to me was the biggest issue with them moving into Wii U. Is that they had no experience with HD, and that was a big problem with them, as they said themselves that they didn't realize how much of a step HD game development was going to be. So that was the reason you didn't get like Mario 3D World at launch, or something that really could have pushed the Wii U. And the fact that they decided to put Skyward Sword out on the Wii, which I still wish they did do that. I wish they would have waited and made that a launch title for Wii U and done all the things they wanted to do. But maybe that just couldn't happen in the time frame because, again, they didn't have the experience they needed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem with Switch. If you wait too long, there are new big technologies coming out on these consoles. And if you wait too long and you're so far behind, by the time you do it, you're going to be even more behind. You don't have the experience with that stuff. And, what you're going to have is a situation where, we've already mastered Unreal Engine. Look at Yoshi's Crafted World. Like, no. That's the biggest issue. It's not so much just graphics. I want my games to look better and all that stuff. But Nintendo is not a company that should be behind tech-wise because they were never that before. I get them wanting to put out lesser expensive consoles and whatnot, but they've always pushed tech. At least up until the Wii, they were doing it. So I just don't get complacent. And that's what happens. They got complacent and they got behind.
See, and that's the thing. I can the problem, and I guess that's the problem with using the Wii and granted, it's the only real example you can use because that's all we have from Nintendo's history that kind of shows the problem with having these longer cycles. I would still say I don't feel like the Switch, and it's not the exact same, but I don't think the Switch is gonna go down the same, gonna be as likely to go down that path, because I think if nothing else, Nintendo took that whole Wii experience, also because the Switch has its success in a completely different lane. Now, obviously, as time goes on and technology improves, there will be more and more people jumping on that bandwagon, which will make the Switch less and less appealing. But I don't think it's gonna be like the Wii, where like the Wii, it was like, it's like once you kind of got over the
motion controls and Wii Sports.
I say the honeymoon period with it. It's like, oh wow, I swing my arm and the guy on the screen swings his arm, and you realize it's not really doing as much as you think it is. And there wasn't enough variety of games for like the casuals to really see. Not that there weren't games, but for some reason, like the hardcore Nintendo fans were being burned in the background, and then the casuals were just getting bored.
I know, but Nintendo was putting out. I mean, we had two of the best 3D Mario games. We had a Great
That-
Return to
but
Donkey Kong and Metroid Prime. I mean,
But
they
all
still
that-
were putting out great games.
Yeah, but all that was in like the first 3 years?
Three
That
or
was
four
all-
years. 2010 was when
Yeah.
Donkey Kong and
Okay,
Galaxy
Donkey
2
Donkey Kong and Metroid, other
And Mario Galaxy
did
2
other
was also 2010.
Galaxy 2. So
Golden no.
they were hitting some bangers with their first party. And Skyward Sword got delayed. That was supposed to be 2010, I believe, initially. Then they pushed it 2011 because.
Yeah, because that game got delayed and that whole
But
that one. But like my whole thing is like, you say that, but a lot of people have a lot of issues with a good chunk of those games. Particularly, a lot of people had issues with Nintendo during that era period. Like the oversaturation of Mario, that kind of got on a lot of people's nerves. A lot of people would not
They
saying
say that every generation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
GameCube was probably worse. So
really, I would say
I think so.
pretty bad.
With all the Mario sports games, come on.
No,
Yeah,
but
well-
see, there's a difference. I think people were tired of the oversaturation of Mario himself, not necessarily like because that was the argument that kept going around that they use Mario too much, but they're using.
Bro,
I've been hearing that since like
Mario's and
N64.
one 2D, like they're two
No,
completely different things. Like people
Yeah,
bitch on that, let them be bitches.
But because it's the same thing, people didn't care, and it's also one of the. It's like the top three, one of the most famous gaming icons in the fucking world. Like,
Well, I mean,
I'm just
dude,
jealous,
if you're
that's all.
complaining about
Oh,
two
no,
of them are still the greatest games of all time. I mean, like Jesus.
I don't think-
We're not contesting you. You're right. What you're saying. I just think that period actually started earlier than Wii. That was.
that's what you're saying. Okay, I
People
got it.
people used to complain about Mario. Oh, too much Mario on N64. I remember.
Then again,
It
you
was
also
yesterday.
remember, like the Wii era was the first like online Nintendo era versus like
Yeah.
GameCube. You didn't really get it was more word of mouth versus like YouTube and forums were getting real kicked up in 2005. But my point is like during that time, a lot of people were kind of burnt out with the Wii U. I think around 2010. So like, even though which is weird because Donkey Kong sold a lot, but like I've even heard complaints with the one on Wii about how they didn't like the fact that you had to use motion control so much. I think people were just kind of burnt out with Nintendo forcing that gimmick because Nintendo relied heavy on that gimmick.
well, they didn't use it for a lot of games. It wasn't forced. And other than Donkey Kong, yeah, you had to ground pound, and it was kind of annoying because if you weren't holding down, then you'd roll. Like if you didn't time it right. But I mean, Galaxy, you collect star bits, but you don't have to. You could play the game with that.
Weirdly enough, I think it was people were already kind of burnt out with the idea of the Wii, and then you had games.
I agree because like I don't think the portable part of Switch is ever going to become the burnout. If anything, it's going to become the thing
and
that
that's what I
saves
mean.
it in the last few years.
What's going to hurt the Switch is when more things start being able to do what the Switch does, but better. That's what's going to hurt the Switch. That's why I can agree with the idea that as technology improves, that's going to become an issue in the future. But I don't think it's going to become an issue in the same way the Wii was, because the Wii, people literally just got tired of the Wii, like the concept of the Wii. Whereas with the Switch, it's going to be an issue of, well, there's other things that do what you do. It is what you're offering me justifying me staying. Like Nintendo's going to have to try harder to keep those people interested because otherwise they'll just pick their phones back up. Or
Yeah. Then you got to worry about, even the early test of xCloud, somebody was showing, was it Just Cause 4 playing off through the Xbox xCloud on their Samsung Galaxy 10 looked amazing, and it's like 2 years from now that technology is really probably going to be quite dialed in. And you still have to have the Xbox and PlayStations plugged in and turned on to connected to the internet, and then you run it that way. It's not like it's gonna stream it from nowhere. But,
my thing is, I feel like the success of the Switch is gonna partially hinge on how well the next PlayStation and Xbox consoles are received, because especially Xbox specifically with all the shit they're trying to do, that to me the success of that console will kind of potentially change the landscape for the next, like, I want to say at least 4 to 5 years at least. But see, because I don't know, and we don't know yet, it's hard to kind of figure out whether or not, because if Xbox hits the wall again, which, to be fair, they have a better chance of not doing at this time as long as they've learned from their mistakes. But if they hit the wall again, Sony can be the fucking powerhouse console, and Nintendo can kind of just chill in the space it's been chilling in. Because it's already been shown that Switch owners will rebuy old games. But the hell, that was shown on the PlayStation. That was shown on the PlayStation. People will go back and rebuy old games. So Nintendo can hang in their spot. It's primarily going to be if this new tech and this new cloud shit, it takes off. Because if it doesn't, Nintendo's good. If it does, they may have to change certain things moving forward. So,
I think I mentioned last week that phones are going to be 2 years from now. Phones are going to just put the Switch to shame. Yeah, they won't have the games, but if you can hook it up to your Series X or your PS5 through streaming and play all your count, like Robert, you'll be able to play your PS5 game at work using a phone and a Bluetooth controller. That's going to be a pretty likely option.
I need a Wi-Fi.
You'd have to have
yeah, I don't think
depends on how much data you have. If you have unlimited data on your phone, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But if you do,
the only console that had that potential was Stadia, and we saw how that kind of went.
There's kids in my classes right now who come to school with their PS4 controller and their phone and play games. So that's a thing that's happening. Yeah, and that's also competition.
And see, that's why it also hinges on what Nintendo releases in the next few years.
Yeah, and oh shit! I was gonna say something and I lost my train of thought.
You want to give you a second?
No. Say what you're gonna say.
he's like, fuck. It's just it's hard. To me, it's hard to guess that shit because it all hinges on what's coming next. And there's a lot of people and the funny thing is I don't know if Sony really wants to release a new console right now. I feel like it feels like
I know what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
You've mentioned Stadia. It's like, well, Stadia you don't own a game. Like the streaming from xCloud in the PS5, what is it called? Remote play. You can buy a physical game and still have a physical game. So it's not like it's just something that exists in the cloud somewhere and you don't ever actually just own the game and can't just play it, when you want. So it's like that's the benefit. Plus, Stadia they just weren't ready because I don't care what internet connection you have. I don't see anybody saying the quality actually lives up to 4K and all that. It's not even real 4K. They've been called out for its up res 1080 running at 1080, then they up res it. It's fake, So there's a lot of problems with that I don't think are going to be the same problems.
Not the exact same, but they do share similarities.
The only problem is going to be how good is your phone on Wi-Fi. If it isn't, how good your data speed, and if you have a limit. If you only have 3 gigs a month, then yeah, that's not going to work for you. But if you got a Xfinity's like unlimited plan, you'd probably be all right. But I mean,
that and you got to look at the taste of gamers in general. You got a bunch of kids who are like, I don't really get like I don't know if you guys remember. I think it was Galaxy 1 or 2 where it came with that instructional disc that explained how to fucking play the game, and it was like a video where it was like Mario moves with the analog stick, and you had
that was
and I mean,
I didn't get it I don't think the U.S. got. I never was.
I don't know if the U.S. got it. I remember seeing the video in English. Is why I thought it was with me.
Yeah,
maybe it was something specific. But the reason why I bring it up is because 3D gaming for a lot. I think that's probably why Sony's game design has changed so fucking much. They're like, well, gamers don't want to fucking learn these complicated mechanics. And not saying all gamers. I'm just saying like the casuals don't seem to want to learn that shit. They want to fucking experience a story. That's why I think Sony's movie style is kind of the reason why they're going in that direction, because if they can't engage you with the gameplay, here's the fucking story.
That's how I feel about Uncharted, but they're getting better. The Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, actually, the gameplay is significantly better. But I would say God of War kind of does both, even though the exploring the environments isn't exactly it's not it's basically quick time events. When you get to a ledge, then you can press X to jump. You can't just jump whenever you want. But when you do the combat, I was surprised at how much depth actually turned out to be, especially when you got the second
Oh yeah,
weapon tier, and then all the upgrades and the
I praised the combat. I was surprised because I didn't think the combat would be more versatile than it was.
I
So
actually look forward to combat.
combat was like the main thing I liked about that game. I
So-
can fuck everything else, but I'll play it. I don't mind the combat that much.
So steering the ship back to the original, I just see a lot of things getting
It's all going.
making the Switch each year go, or they're gonna be improving, and if the Switch stays the same with no any kind of revisions and stuff, it's just the handheld's gonna carry it, but the TV experience 2 years from now is just gonna start to. It's gonna, like I said, it's 10 years of Nintendo basically at the same kind of level. I know we don't know exactly what I think Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna really shine some light, I think, on what the actual gap, because somebody in the comment section, CK, was saying that he thinks I'm underestimating the gap between the Switch and the Wii U, and I think, well,
To be fair, I agree with that.
I'm just going by what we're seeing with games that have been on both systems, and
Say it is. I'll say that.
And if the handheld is going to carry it, then wouldn't the Switch Lite be outselling the regular Switch like 3-1 or something?
I think
If that's all people cared about.
I don't know what the numbers
still
are,
like-
but I know the Switch Lite did really well.
No, it did well.
But it didn't. It wasn't like nothing.
It ain't like, oh, why did we?
It
have
wasn't
this
like,
other Switch?
God damn. It was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
I haven't seen any. Have you seen any actual numbers?
I think during the last investors meeting.
Wasn't it 5 million or something? It sold?
Oh, I'll go check real quick.
I think it sold 5 million.
But the other
it might be a
Switch,
little
the
bit
regular
more than that.
Switch, probably in this. I mean, you're talking from what, September, October when it came out, the Lite. What did the regular Switch probably did 5-6 million? I
I'm
mean,
about to check right now. Let's see.
because it was at 40 and it ended up at 50, so I would say that they probably were 1-to-1 there.
That's still a really good percentage of people who like.
Yeah, but I'm talking about 2 years from now. I think the handheld.
I'm the first one who said that. I'm
Yeah.
the one who said it's going to overdo 100 million because of that,
Mm-hmm.
because of the handheld
Light
part of it. So.
will help. Okay. You see the tunes. That's telling me about the sales. I need to know what the fuck the sales were.
But either way, it has that ace in the hole, and like Retro said last week, they could come out with a box that's TV only, and it's has the same library. It's getting the same games, and it's just they make the handheld. It runs on the handheld, and then you plug it into this box that has, and it's almost like an Xbox One X to Xbox One S situation where it's the same game. It's just you get cleaner, higher resolution, higher frame rates. You get a cleaner. If it's a great game,
Yeah, the Switch
Then-
Lite sold 5 million.
yeah. So I mean, that's did pretty well. So I wouldn't be surprised if this year the Switch Lite outsells the normal Switch for the whole year. When you talk about Animal Crossing coming out and all the Pokemon fans that.
It did a little bit less than half of what the Switch did in the same time frame. The Switch normally sold about 12, and the Switch Lite sold about 5. So it's almost half of what the Switch sold.
So I mean, basically the point is, that's what's its saving grace. That's why it's not going to be a Wii like I was worrying. Like you said, it's got that to keep it going.
Because of what it's being sold as and what its gimmick as it's not something you can really tire of because modern entertainment is going in that same direction. People are watching Netflix on their fucking phone.
Yeah.
Shit. Like handheld, the portable experience is not going away. If anything, it's increasing.
And as long as there's more cases of The Witcher 3 and Metro Redux and less cases of Hellblade, where the portable version is by far inferior to the docked TV experience. If there's more, that's the handheld experience is the best reason to have that version or that game on Switch.
And to be fair, they've been prioritizing handheld anyway.
So I mean, none of you guys have played it, and I can only go off what you can only just trust me or not. I literally couldn't solve one of the rune puzzles in Hellblade in handheld mode because it literally dropped, and it's like 360p I think in handheld where it's the lowest it drops. It might even be 240. I can't remember. It's really low. I couldn't see this fucking rune on the ground. I'm like, where is this thing? I wasted like 20 minutes. I'm like, I fucking looked it up. I'm like, oh, it's right there. So I just zoomed in on this blur texture, and then it did the little cutscene real quick to say, hey, you did it. You know, you're on the right rune. And I'm
I
like,
mean, you can call people graphics hoes, but when the visuals are affecting your gameplay,
and that was the last time
I'm like,
To me, that's a pure example of that's just too low for fidelity.
yeah, and I'm like, and I kind of do want to talk
Contra?
about.
To be fair, just to quickly say this, technically it's up to the devs to
It's
check that and to put something in there. Where if they play the game in handheld and they see, oh, you can barely don't see the rune, it's up to the devs to program that part in a way that the
Yeah, they
rune
have
just
to
stands
just
out
make
even
it-
more than normal.
Because normally there's like, you get to the right angle and there's the leaves, they're like dead leaves, but there's like burning in the shape. That's where you get the shape of an R. And I'm like, it just didn't stand out. But then when I got there on the PC version, it was so obvious. I'm like, no wonder I figured, because I was like, I did this before. Why can't I find this? I'm sitting there yelling at the fucking game in
the
my
one
hand.
you have to line up all the symbols?
Yeah, you got to zoom
it?
in and
Yeah,
she
yeah.
got to, she's, because of her psychosis, she thinks she sees all these shapes in the environment,
Yeah.
all these signs. And I just literally couldn't solve it. And I'm like, yeah, they could have made it, they could have worked around it. But at the same time, and I kind of want to get into this, and T mentioned it, the whole, because I joked about it a while ago, and we never talked about how Nintendo said they mastered Unreal Engine, and that so far just about every Unreal Engine game that's been ported to Switch has had a real issue with resolution, and this was one of those instances. And it seems like the portable mode is, I mean, getting close to 3DS native resolution numbers. You know, it's that engine's just not made for such a low specs. You know, so, and then Nintendo was bold enough to say they mastered it. Well, it was before Yoshi came out. It was right after the Switch released, I believe. Miyamoto or somebody said it. And we're like, all right, so we've had one game they've used, and I know the Shin Megami Tensei 5 was supposedly using it. I don't know if that's, who knows.
Yeah, but the game isn't even out.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah,
they
who
mastered
knows?
it, but then you're getting, look what Luigi's Mansion can do with a custom engine. Look what Odyssey's running at 900p, 60 frames per second, a full 3D game. And here it's a 2D plane with, 3D depth and stuff. To hit 60 has to run, I mean, it literally drops to 500p resolution docked. I mean, that's not mastering the engine. That's getting probably everything they could out of it, but I wouldn't consider that mastering.
They call it mastery because they literally can't get anything else out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
All of that.
if
Although-
they'd mastered it, I would expect better results.
They don't use Unreal Engine that often anyway.
I don't think they're going to anymore. I think
They've only used it for what? Them themselves have only used it like
once.
yeah.
And somebody's right. Dragon
I bet
Quest
that's why the
11.
game got delayed too.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised. But Dragon Quest 11 does look. I mean, it looks good. That's using Unreal Engine 4.
Dragon Quest.
It looks really good.
Dragon Quest 11 for one was announced for the Switch before it was even called.
But
the
they
Switch.
had to.
And then got delayed after the PS4 and PC versions came
Didn't
out.
they say that they basically had to like start from ground
They were
zero
waiting-
with
they
making
said-
that work on Switch?
They said they were waiting for a specific update for Unreal Engine 4 to come out. And then once the update came out, it seemed to go relatively smoothly after that. But like, because Unreal Engine 4 wasn't like officially supported for the Switch initially. They had to wait.
Well, older version was.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. But I think they needed an update that was in the
Yeah,
newer.
that's right. That's what they did say. Same with Unity with Ukulele. They needed a Unity update to come out so they could continue
Although
development.
Rocket makes a good point that a custom engine will always run better on base hardware versus.
Yeah, but they
We're
were
just
the
talking
ones
about
that
what Nintendo said though.
they
right?
said they mastered it, and I'm like, well, in which way did you master it? But I think that's honestly the last time they'll use it. I don't expect them to.
They mastered enough to make Yoshi, and look at how it turned out. Oh.
It runs at 60 frames per second at least.
I think T has like the most quotable lines in any game. It's fucking
What's that?
ridiculous. You were the most quotable gaming YouTuber. I swear to God, yo.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why you don't make fucking shirts at this point.
Bitch!
Because nobody would buy them bitches. That's why.
Bitch!
You broke motherfuckers.
I'm gonna start quoting Terrell.
Again,
Don't go
you
me.
would make
My quotes aren't really quotes. They're just me cursing.
you would make a shirt, and then the question is, how do you spell?
Yeah, I tried to type it out. Mom, I'm doing the podcast. That's my Terrell.
Juice ain't shit, yo.
Bitch, are you for real?
All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, and we also discussed this a while back, and I it was another time I didn't really get what the answers I was looking for. Just you guys is just to say, hey, this is how I feel. We just kind of kept going off and off and off, and I was bringing up how Microsoft's doing with Xbox. They're doing this the free upgrade, like forward compatibility, backwards compatibility. And the one thing I kept asking is like, what happens if Sony comes out with the PS5 and they don't do that? They expect you to buy a PS5 version of Last of Us and PS5 version of Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding. Like, do you think that would be something that would affect Sony? Because they're riding high right now, and all they got to do is put out a decent system, a good system at a good price, and it seems like they'd be a success. But what happens if they, because remember when they did the whole this is how you trade games on PS4, and it just bitch slapped Microsoft. I kind of feel like if they don't do this whole free upgrade to take advantage of your PS5 with your especially the cross-gen type games, I don't know if that could be of that magnitude.
I don't think
If I was Microsoft, I'd flip around and use that shit. This is how you upgrade your games on Microsoft.
So Microsoft can take advantage of the situation and turn it into some shit. But I don't think the feature by itself is that big of a deal. But if it has the potential for Microsoft to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna just slap you with my dick.
I think it's fucking.
You just said how much
changer.
people love rebuying games, remasters and whatnot. This is a free remaster, basically. I think that could be potentially huge. Oh, I don't have to go out and buy the remaster.
One of the biggest, and especially because one of the biggest things
big.
for the PS5 right now, and that's all I hear, and it drives me crazy. Is everyone keeps saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see what my PS4 games look like." I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so people are really excited for that shit, and so like, you could technically do that where if you could bring your PS4 game, or you don't have to buy two different games for the PS5. I mean,
backwards compatibility was pretty confirmed though.
But the backwards compatibility is different
that's different.
Getting like a upgrade to take advantage.
Oh, you mean like if I buy
and especially this almost cross-gen games with Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima that are coming out the same.
Then they wouldn't have to buy the game again.
And then it's not just playing it. I mean, at the very minimum, you're going to get the PS4 Pro version. There's no doubt in my mind. But what if it takes it to the next level, and instead of playing The Last of Us Part 2 at, I'm guessing the Pro is going to be 1440p like Uncharted and the other Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4 were at 30. Now you're playing native 4K at 60 because I'm playing The Last of Us Remastered right now on PS4 Pro, and I'm playing at 1080p 60 because 60 really makes a nice difference for that game and the gameplay. So, I mean, that would be to not have to rebuy that game a year from now. That would give me way more confidence just to buy the PS4 version and know I'm going to have a PS5 someday, and that I could take advantage of it and stuff like that. Now that Microsoft's doing it, now I'm looking to Sony like they almost have to. From my standpoint, if they don't, that's almost a hard pass on the PS5. I mean, that's how much of a change it made in my thinking in just a few months after they announced that. And I would have probably never even considered that before.
No, I can totally see that. I can understand. Like I was saying,
all these tech heads, that's going to be something for them. I don't think it's not going to be the majority of people who care about that, but that's going to be somebody's talking point for sure.
I think I would be fucking surprised. I don't know.
But I mean,
maybe it's just me. But
if they're trying to do Last of Us Part 2 remastered and Ghost of Tsushima remastered, Death Stranding remastered, and you got Microsoft over here just like T said, this is how we give our upgrades. These are how we do remasters. Just put this disc
Stick the
in,
game in,
and it works.
download upgrade.
You might not even have to
It
download
works.
anything extra. I mean, who knows?
A
Like,
download patch or whatever.
I
You gotta need a
just
patch.
I think it's gonna be one of those things where a year from now you're gonna look back and say, how did we ever let anything other than this slide? Like, how did we let rebuying the same games over and over slide? Like,
That is true.
Yeah.
You may not need a patch because I don't need them for my current my old Xbox and 360 games on the
and when you buy a
Xbox
PC
One.
game,
They just run and look better.
yeah, it
automatically.
doesn't matter what graphics card you have. I mean, you just download the game and you play it.
Yeah.
Take advantage of your hardware. So for me, like, I'm just like, and you guys know me. How many Microsoft E3 predictions have we done where we just shit all over Microsoft, everybody but T? It's probably 3 or 4 in a row.
Really?
You know, like, T's the only one that had any hope for Microsoft. And
It's only because of one company. That is rare. That's the only reason I gave a shit.
And
It
here I
wasn't
am.
like, oh, I have faith in Microsoft.
I mean, the Microsoft, my least favorite of the 3, my least played. I mean, I like the 360. That was definitely my favorite of that generation. But, like, I'm not a fan. And I got to even eat some crow because Red Knight and I had a falling out. Not over this exact topic, but his old conversion to Microsoft, saying that they're setting up to have an amazing generation. They're doing everything right. A lot of his stemmed on Game Pass, which I just didn't think that mattered in the consumer-friendly aspect of that. But I got to give them credit, man. I mean, they're probably doing it because they have to, because their sales have really gone nowhere in the last year. They've really been stagnant, and they're the reason this next generation's happening this year. But they're doing a lot of things that I'm saying, man, if third parties jump on board, imagine if Microsoft makes it mandatory that you put out a game on Xbox that this year that it has to have the free upgrade, like Cyberpunk 2077 's already saying. Like, if that's a mandate, you don't have to worry. Like, I'm almost thinking about buying Doom Eternal for the Xbox now and canceling my pre-order for the PS4, just because I know once I get that Series X, possibly at the end of this year, I'm gonna have, the ultimate experience for Doom Eternal. So I mean, that's kind of impact it's having already on me.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see who's going to be the first developer to not do it, and see what's the effect.
Yeah, who's gonna try the remastered next from this gen to next gen
first?
To be fair, developers that can technically make less money that way. I mean, imagine like half the sales. I keep saying it, Grand Theft Auto was on the 360 and PS3, and then it went half the sales on PS4 and the One, and people rebought that
People
game.
rebuying it, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't know how many were repeat.
The fact that they technically don't have to. They probably want to resell it,
But at the same time, I guess they did spend money. They had to spend a decent amount of money probably porting it to Xbox One and PS4, and then they have to spend money to ship all these copies. Yeah, they made a ton of money off it, no doubt. But how much of that sales was when the game dropped to $20? I mean, it's still in the charts, or it was recently. And the game's like $20. I mean, how much money are they making off a $20 copy of Grand Theft Auto 5? I'd be curious how much of that, whatever, 60, 70 million was the game under $40, where they probably don't make hardly anything. So it'd be, who knows what that would be. But still, if you just do the free upgrade, how many more people might buy a game like Cyberpunk just because of, hey, I like what this company's doing. I'm going to buy it for Xbox now, and knowing that it's going to get a free upgrade, I'm not going to wait for a price drop. I'm going to buy it day one, start playing it, and then get my Series X and then get it in whatever resolution frame rate it's possible, and get the better version later on. Like, maybe you get some people, for these, I wouldn't say it's a smaller game, but not the Grand Theft Auto type games, it might be a pretty big selling point.
Yeah.
But all right, let's check the questions on the Discord because I know we didn't get to too many last week.
Like always.
I know it's tough.
It just
It's
carried
not
over.
fucking important, man.
All right, so let's see. Lightning. Oh no, it's a lightning question, so prepare yourselves. I didn't pre-read it.
One of these days, y'all just gonna fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta say, last night Terrell's doing a stream of Smash, and I'm trying to. I have it on while I'm doing some other stuff on the computer, and I hear Kirby doing his Palutena's neutral B, whatever the noise he makes. Man, and then it's like
That's what Kirby
2
said.
straight minutes of relentless hitting that over and over and over, doing nothing else. Yeah, I jump out of the way and dodge attacks, but 2 straight minutes of that noise. And I'm just like, dude, quit spamming like a little bitch or something like that. And I'm like, have you ever heard of the term sportsmanship? You should look it up because it's just, I can't imagine playing like that. But anyway, so we have a little back and
Bro,
forth.
we thought you were joking when you said in the chat. You were like, "I'm not gonna play. I can't play against a spamming ass Kirby or something along those
I
lines."
couldn't listen to the stream anymore.
Dead ass. I thought you were joking.
I turned
And
off
then
the stream.
I
And me-
don't care usually about any type of spam in a fighting game. If you do the same thing over and over, this is gonna work against you. You know, the one thing that bothers the shit out of me when fighting lightning is that goddamn Mario cape.
Oh yeah, I
Well, that's-
literally I lost. I think I lost 2 matches because of that shit.
I don't get annoyed by like using an effective move, but just using an annoying move that's not effective over and over and over must be just to try to, I'm guessing, try to annoy the opponent. I just don't.
I mean, that's
I can't roll with that. Can't roll with that.
The point is
but-
to fuck with you. What made it was funny.
I don't know, man. I
The
think
funny thing that was funny was that I'm talking. Retro joined, so Retro was playing with us and everything. And then, like for a minute, I'm like, "Oh shit, Juice wasn't playing when he said that." I thought he was. I was like, "Oh, I thought he was joking." I'm like, "Oh, damn, Lightning, you really?" And then I think Lightning wrote like something like "Juice is a bitch" in the chat.
No, I left. Just from an audio experience, I couldn't tolerate it.
Well, to be fair, I don't think a lot of people spam because they know nothing else, dude.
No,
They
he's
don't
good.
know.
I mean, he can play competent. He just
He can play
chooses to.
competent.
He chooses to play like that. I don't know why, but
Love aggression.
so how do you feel knowing you have to play certain games in a certain order to have an easier time in your second playthrough? EX, Mega Man, or Resident Evil? I don't get the question.
I read that and it took me first of all like 10 minutes
Is
to
he
figure
saying,
out what
how
they
do you
meant.
feel-
But I don't see it that way anyway. I think they mean, for example, if you want to play Mega Man 6 or some shit, it's easier to start at the first one because of the gimmicks that change from game to game. You're building up to it or some shit. At least that's what I think it is. But I don't know, it makes no sense. You can randomly play any game anywhere. The only thing that changes sometimes, and even then, is just that you don't get specific story in the correct order and shit. But I mean, I don't think that affects me in
If
any
there's a way to
at all.
play the game better, you learned on your first playthrough, and then you can, like in Link Between Worlds, I realized getting, was it the hammer, and then going to the water temple first was a huge advantage that I wish I had known on my first playthrough. And I just like, that's cool. I mean, you don't have to play it that way, but if you want a better, more efficient experience on your second playthrough, because I kind of want to make this a main topic, maybe even next week. Every time I played a game a second time, I've never done all the side quests. I've never done 100%. I've never worried about getting everything I could. You know, I've always just played my second playthrough a little more streamlined.
Running.
You know, so I played my second playthrough is more like Robert's first playthrough. What I'm trying to say. Oh. But anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Nah.
What's the question?
It was
I don't get it.
I don't know. I
Is
don't
the first one
know.
up there?
Something about
I
knowing
love
knowing
this
that
weird-
there's a game where you on your second playthrough, you know there's a certain way to play it to make it a easier experience or easier time, i.e. playing Mega Man, like Mega Man 2, getting the leave guy or whatever, like made the rest of the game easier type of thing.
Mhm.
I guess he's asking, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't know.
I love this weird relationship Lightning and Juice have, where they're like really casually mean to each
Well,
other.
we spend half the time trying to figure out his questions, and every time. I've said it over and over. Just make sure it's a clear, concise question, so we don't have to worry about trying to figure out what you mean.
Well, maybe he's just trolling you at this point.
No, I don't think I know. I think he's dead ass.
Oh, I'm
with
sure
that.
No.
I'm sure he would. Now that you said that, he probably every question.
I don't think it
like
is.
that.
I think he's dead ass about it though.
All right,
But he's not here
so
for it.
Miguel Rose asks, "What do you think of the premise of the upcoming Illumination Mario movie will be? What do you think the premise will be? With a release year of 2022, do you think we could see a tie-in video game of the movie?"
I don't want it. I don't want it.
Yeah, a
Never
tie video game from.
I'll tell you what I
Nintendo.
don't want the premise to be. Mario gets teleported into the real world. I will
don't want
fucking
the-
I'll boycott. I'll never watch it if that's the premise.
I mean, yeah,
I think it's gonna be the.
It's an animated movie.
Yeah, it's
They
an
already-
Illumination. It should be fully animated, but I'm just saying that's the one
You
premise
still
I
could
would.
go in the real world.
What I'm expecting them to do is to introduce some kind of random ass new character nobody ever heard of, just so that they won't have Bowser kidnap Peach, so she can be in it at the same time. That's what I'm expecting.
Well, you're
Maybe
gonna have to have a
Palpatine-
character that the audience can relate to. So there's gonna be like this kid named Chip. Hey, Chip!
Yeah, exactly.
Chip stumbles along. There's gonna be some dumbass shit like that. Chip stumbles
Well,
Chip stumbles along
Miyamoto.
in the real world. He finds a pipe and he goes through and he falls into the Mushroom Kingdom. And Chip, our worlds are colliding. We got to do something to stop this.
It's gonna be like all the stereotypical shit. Like, who are you? It's me, Mario.
The more interesting question is, what are they going to do for Mario's voice? Is it just going to give him are they going to do a Detective Pikachu, just give him a regular voice, or are they going to do a character that's close to what we already know him like?
I don't know, man.
Captain
Luigi,
Lou.
come
Give him the
on!
Captain Lou. That's me, Mario.
I was thinking that about Breath of the Wild 2 if they decided to give Link a voice, and it's like you can't give Link some manly, deep voice,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, he already has a voice. He's always
well, he
yelling.
says a lot of something in
Yelling, so all he
Japanese.
has to do is just make it work.
5 foot. He's a 5'3" fairy boy. I mean,
But what happens when he says
At least he's 5
yes?
foot. Though.
The girl's like, and she'll be like,
What happens if he's
hey.
just like talking to Zelda, like, yeah, we should go over here and take Ganon's gonna come back. What if he's talking normal? I mean, you can't go, yeah. You can't put that into it.
You can do variation.
that voice actor?
You can do a
I'd
variation.
laugh my ass.
Whoever
Zelda's
that
like-
is, whoever-
Zelda's like,
Huh?
Ganon's
It
gonna
can't-
come back. Yes, he is. Or something.
It can be over exaggerated, but you can do it.
You just gotta give him
That shit would be
just find the right
hilarious.
voice actor for him and just give him a normal voice. He doesn't have
Just
to.
get the guy from the cartoon.
I'm just saying, who is that person?
That's a
that
Japanese.
voice
That's in
actor.
Japanese. If you listen, he says like, when you do the spin attack, he says something that sounds Japanese.
Yeah, Toria.
Well, remember, he also has like specific reactions that you can easily imagine a voice. When he's, for example, surprised, he does this weird thing when he goes like, oh, you can base the voice of that way. It's just going to be probably like some kind of calm thing, like you said, with maybe like a slightly feminine sounding voice, like not something super deep and shit. Like, I think it can be easily done. I think voicing Link should be easier than,
Link
for
is
example,
easier.
voicing Mario
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the Illumination thing.
Mario's gonna be the
Because
tough one.
unlike me, when I think of Mario talk, I think like, hey, paisano, like the old cartoon kind of shit, But they can't do that, I think.
Well,
I think it's gonna
I
be
think
way
they
too easy.
can.
I
Yeah,
mean,
It just can't be too over the top.
at
or,
the end, I was
uh,
gonna say the end of Luigi's Mansion, though. That's what I don't want. Come on, Luigi.
Oh,
I'm like, no, I can't watch
That was
it too.
that was pretty.
no.
That's pretty.
Mario.
I kind of feel like that's what it would be.
I do.
Come on.
It's funny
You
because
want to kill yourself by the end of that movie. Are you kidding?
Because I appreciate him being so concerned about everyone's safety, but he knowing that he doesn't have the power to do anything, so he's overly relying on Luigi.
I love that Mario does the wall jump to get to the top, leaves Luigi in the dust to figure out a way to get to the top. And then
Oh no! Like I said, I view that as him being very concerned about beaching them.
yeah.
I'm like-
No, I just think Mario, it's almost a game. That's how I felt. Like it's like he's so used to winning the day and being so overpowered and beating Bowser every time that he's he's just excited to go get it over.
This is
Who's
the
his
kind of
voice
Mario
again?
lore I wish they would fucking do more in the game.
Who does his
dude.
voice again?
Charles Martinet.
Charles
Charles
Martinet.
Like,
He does all the
I'm
main
sorry,
Mario characters except for
yeah.
the girls.
I'm sorry, Charles, but we got to leave you alone for this movie because we just
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree.
for 2
Honestly,
hours.
Charles Martinet, that paycheck would be nice for all those characters if he did the movie.
Bro, they should
Yeah.
totally use Waluigi and Wario. I feel like that needs
No,
to
man.
be, they need to be used.
I mean, Wario,
no.
you can hear
Wario,
Wario.
you can do.
Yeah, you
I
can.
don't want Waluigi. I don't want people to see more of that man. I just don't want it.
So
Yeah, I'm in the fuck Waluigi crowd too.
let's
What
answer the
happened?
question though. What do you think? Should
Is it-
Mario be saving? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear. You were you talking, Terrell? I talked over you.
No, I was saying the reason why Robert is concerned about not seeing Wario is because of T.
Waluigi, I think he meant to.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Wario-
he said Waluigi.
I don't want to see Waluigi though. Waluigi's a bitch. I don't want
His
it.
bitch lazy
He's
ass
dumb looking,
character.
yeah.
really interact with the games.
But do you want to see Mario saving Peach in the movie and have a typical story where Bowser captures her? Or do you want to see something completely different but still take place in the
I can
Mushroom
see
Kingdom?
them doing it where they want to have Bowser and Peach and Mario all team up against someone else. Like they.
Or
could
I'd
be
love
like-
it if Bowser
Well,
and Mario have to team up because Peach went on her own little vacation and they're trying to figure out if she's okay or something.
No, that would be the gag. That would be the punchline at the end of the movie. I was just on vacation.
Yeah, that's why I think Odyssey actually has a pretty good story when it comes
That's
to.
what I'm saying. Like I like it when they fuck with the lore. The problem is they just don't. I have a feeling that Miyamoto is not a fan of them fucking with like Mario lore. That's why it got dialed back in a lot of the
He just
RPG
doesn't
games.
like lore in general, dude.
No, he does not. I think he
He
legit.
doesn't like story at all.
He's a big kid, so he probably wants Mario to sound like he does in the games, and like I'm hoping that they don't.
That's why I wasn't like when I heard he was involved. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
What about a
It was-
tie-in movie? You think that's a potential?
No, please God, no.
I
That's not Nintendo style at all. I
I'm
don't
surprised
think.
Sonic didn't do it. I'll be real with you.
I'm
I'm
not.
very-
We are talking about Sega here.
What did you think of? Real quick, Terrell, since we're on the subject, I was watching an interview with the dude who does the voice of Sonic, and I recognize him, but I can't. I have
Yeah,
no
Ben
idea how
Stewart.
I know where he's from. I have.
He's also,
What else has he been in? Because he looks so familiar.
Okay, Ben Schwartz. Now he also does voices in the DuckTales reboot. So
Yeah, that's
Ben-
right. Yeah.
yeah, but I personally knew him from there. If you're subscribed to College Humor on YouTube, there's a series known as Jake and Amir that I fucking followed ever since I was back in like high school, and he used to show up on there a lot. But
I
the
think he's
TV
been in a TV show or something.
he has been in a TV show. I don't remember the name of the TV show, but he has been in a TV show.
But anyway,
Yeah,
he
no.
said that while they're developing Sonic, like his voice and stuff, they're like, well, what if he's like a excited teenager, like who
I
hasn't-
mean, that's literally what.
and they're like, they said all the
Yeah.
pieces fell into place once they come up with that idea. And I know that was kind of a complaint. You said that you didn't love that he acted like a kid.
the
who was
problem.
like-
There's a difference between a teenager and a kid. But the thing I have to remind myself is that he's young.
Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, there we go.
that's where he's
it.
from.
That's it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
where it's from. But Sonic in the movie feels younger. He feels like he's like 10 or some shit, like 10 or 9.
Yeah,
or
like how
something.
he goes to there's a I don't know, what, a dinosaur park or something.
Yeah. No, it was like the rubber band ball.
Rubber band. Yeah.
He seems more like a kid than a teen. It's and like I said, it's still Ben still gets Sonic as a character, but because he seems like he's aged down with this whole like family complex and everything, it doesn't feel as what I'm used to.
Well, they said
But
that gave the movie heart.
yeah,
I think it makes sense in the sense where really young kids, especially over teens, are more hyperactive, and that fits with Sonic's speed. I think that's probably why they did it.
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why I like the film. That's part of the reason why I give the film more props than I thought I would, is because for one, they respected him for the most part, other than the fucking flossing and the occasional fart joke. Like 90% of the time, he was still Sonic, and the fact that like his childish personality works with him being a speed demon. So I was
Yeah.
cool with it.
Should have been at least been like somebody hyper, but I would
They did a
say
great job with him.
the video game Sonic sounds like a voice actor for a cartoon and wouldn't have worked in a live action movie.
mean Roger Craig Smith? He actually voices him in the cartoon.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Julian
saying.
White?
Like in the video games and stuff, I that's a cartoon voice. That's not a.
Although people have a meme with Roger Craig Smith because they were so tired of hearing him in everything. He was in Batman too. It was like, what the fuck?
All right,
Sorry, go
so Dave97, do you think the coronavirus, he didn't type that out, that's what threw me, will delay the PS5 and Xbox Series X since manufacturers in China? Could it be the reason why Nintendo has been quiet with news? Nintendo's logic could be why announce hype a future game when Switch supply would be limited. So the first part of that, I could see...
They did just release China somewhere recently.
I could see that possibly affecting them getting to the numbers they want at launch, but I think Xbox is, no matter what's coming out, PS5 I think's up in the air if it's coming out this year.
Actually, yeah, because there was a news report like a few weeks ago about how they were struggling with parts, and I agree with that. I think PlayStation, it's more. I really don't think they want to release anything right now. I think realistically,
I really don't think.
Didn't we talk? I mentioned this where I said like Nintendo didn't want to mention the Switch until after Paper Mario. PlayStation 4 still got fucking probably could be one of the
Best year.
not biggest sales wise, but one of the biggest like since Red Dead Redemption. But this is an exclusive with the Last of Us Part 2 being a huge game. If I was them, I would wait definitely until after that game's out released. And then Ghost of Tsushima could be like a cross-gen type of thing. So I don't blame them. I don't know why people, Sony fans and stuff, are acting like, where's the PS5, Sony? I need to know, like, right now. Like, I don't understand that. And we talked about that a little bit. But so for me, I wouldn't be surprised if they both made it out. I'd be shocked if Xbox Series X don't come out this year.
Well, they only need to know because Microsoft's been showing some of their cards. They need something to combat
Yeah.
Xbox fans with.
And it'll be interesting to see. Like, there's another thing I asked you guys a while back, and really didn't feel like we come to any kind of answer to it. Was if they're the same price, and if the Xbox is like the leaks or rumors are saying is like 35% more powerful, and if they're the same price, I think that would be enough to win the initial, especially the first year or two, unless PlayStation 5 can get a price drop. I think that would be enough to get these gamers switching back to Xbox who jump ship this generation to the PS4 from the 360.
You know what I think that would hinge on personally?
Games.
If games, but specifically because remember they said Halo was a launch title. If Halo is good, I would say 100% okay, yeah, fine.
But you got to think though,
if Halo's bad, I'm like,
if Halo sucks,
Halo
but
is Halo 5, and
yeah, that's the problem. Halo 5 has its own.
But what's the number one selling games every year on the
Third
PS4?
party.
Yeah, so to me, if the third parties, if there's a clear advantage.
But Sony has at least some of its first party games in the top 10 versus Xbox. That
Well,
never does.
not Lifetime. I mean, they've been in years they've had it, but Lifetime top 10. Actually, I think there is a exclusive.
That's why I said I don't think it's like. I still think they're pretty similar, but I think Sony can get their games either in like.
But that's still a small chunk of the overall pie.
Top 10 of their game.
When you're talking about what GTA 5 did, what Madden, and what Black Ops 3 did, that's what. If there's a clear advantage for Xbox with those games, and they're the same price, I don't think
these hoes ain't loyal.
I think loyalty will go right out the window, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'll get that PS5 for these exclusive."
So I just looked it up
when the price drops.
I just looked it up, and I know VG Charts isn't the best.
Well, there was an official. Maybe it was MPD though. That might have been just in North America.
Just give context, at least from what VG Chart says. VG Charts obviously has Grand Theft Auto 5 as top selling. Uncharted 4 is right under it. Then it's Call of Duty. Then it's Red Dead. Then it's Call of Duty. Then it's Spider-Man, FIFA, Last of Us Remastered, God of War, and FIFA. Like, there's still a good chunk of their first party in that.
That's true. Uncharted 4 though was given away.
I was gonna say I call bunk on that one.
That was given away as a bundle for like 2 straight years.
2 years, and
I mean,
they're selling for like $20.
They're counting that as a sale when I paid $200 for my PS4 Slim with Uncharted 4.
It's not like Nintendo hasn't done that with
I know.
Wii Sports. And,
Yeah. I'm saying
And
though,
Mario, original Mario.
so they have a few, but still, I think that would be because that was the defining thing. The Xbox was $100 more. They weren't the same price. If they were the same price, who knows what would have happened with the whole Kinect thing? If that still would have been, still wouldn't have mattered. But it was $100 more, and a weaker system.
It was a weaker system, and on top of that, the games that came out, I think the only standouts they had was Sunset Overdrive, which came out a year later.
Well, I think Xbox got off to a better start as far as.
And they wanted me to buy a console with the NSA spying device on it. No, thank you. All the fucking conspiracy theories around that shit was ridiculous, man.
So,
you were entertained. You weren't. Don't
There was one I remember clearly where they said the Kinect can see your penis, dude. I don't even remember that. They said like some type of the heat measuring, and then they were like, "Yo, I think we could see that dude's cock." It was like, what?
wow, I never heard that. But so
it was bad.
Do you think the coronavirus could be affecting what Nintendo? Because I think game cartridges and stuff probably are produced in China, aren't they?
It would affect their hardware output.
What about software though? What about the game cards?
I don't know about the software, but I know about the hardware they've already.
Game cards are produced there. Everything's produced there.
I assume so.
But do you think that would affect Nintendo at least announcing a game? I don't think that's why we don't have a direct.
It depends on how. Yeah.
People have been thirsty for Nintendo information even before this Corona thing like came out and shit, and and since then we've had like in the beginning of this year, we're in just March now, but in 2 months we had like 3 directs or some shit. I mean, not the direct people wanted, but we're getting information and shit. But like people have been thirsty since like a year.
I don't think the yearly Pokemon direct. I mean, that's always there. They always do that, so I don't think that.
There's Pokemon, Smash, Animal Crossing. We're getting shit.
That's true.
I mean, if you count the final character announcement as a direct, I mean, for a game that's already been out,
we like to hear some new shit. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Animal Crossing direct was a good direct especially for people that like Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, Robert. But anyway, I don't think that has anything to do. My money's on Nintendo. Blew their load a little early last year, and their E3 was.
You mean early? You mean late, don't you?
No, last February they announced Link's Awakening, Astral Chain,
you meant the direct,
and Mario Maker 2, and then E3 we got Breath of the Wild 2.
That wasn't that early because I mean Mario Maker came out like what 3 months after? No, 4 months.
It came out at the end of June. So, I mean...
the direct was in February, wasn't it?
Yeah.
February 13th.
So about 4 months. I don't think that was too early.
And I know you guys don't agree with me, but I rewatched the E3 direct, and it's like... I mean, it ended with 3... It ended with Animal Crossing footage for the first time, a huge surprise with Banjo, and then a huge surprise with Breath of the Wild 2. Everything before that was... We had seen every game before. There was no... Other than the Dark Crystals and the Contra. And that weird like
nobody cared about.
And it was just like, it was nice to see more, but who needed to see more Fire Emblem at that point? Like who needed to see I forget what else. Sword and Shield they probably showed.
Link's Awakening, right?
Link's Awakening we saw a little bit more, but I mean the reveal was way more exciting than what they showed at E3. So it's like maybe they think it's better to keep some of that stuff for E3, which I don't blame them. That's fine. So
will there be an E3?
Yeah, they might cancel E3.
They already said they're gonna keep going with E3.
And we didn't even talk about
that was before GDC got canceled though.
No, they just recently said it, like a few days ago, I thought.
And their PAX East, that was
even
like,
that doesn't influence that doesn't influence the digital shit at all.
Yeah, they just said it. They said it actually they said it today. That's what I thought.
And what do you guys think of how Nintendo showed up to PAX East like it was fucking E3 with a whole Animal Crossing?
That was so cool.
Oh, come on, bro. Animal Crossing. I think Animal Crossing is one of them titles that's going like fuck everybody up for a while.
Well, that's the thing.
I know, but look what they did. They went full on. I mean, completely.
Don't hate on their dedication, all right?
So what I'm saying is like no one even knew they were doing that. And here they come to PAX East, and people, all of a sudden you see all these videos of like being on in an actual Animal Crossing world at PAX East. I'm like, they've never done anything like that.
That's all the growth.
That shit was gorgeous.
I think Animal Crossing as of right now is like the franchise I've seen the most people cry, like literally cry over.
Hey man,
That was one of the most beautiful booths I've ever seen.
That shit looked gorgeous, like dead ass.
well, what's crazy though is because like for PAX East, I remember when I went that one year, all it really was that for Nintendo was just all booths. There was no setup.
We're playing it right now on the screen, so people.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
Anybody who hadn't
every
seen
PAX
it,
I went to was just a booth.
Yeah,
like, this is what they did for Breath of the Wild at fucking E3. This is the type of level of detail. I mean, maybe not quite to the Breath of the Wild one.
This shit is ridiculous.
But this is like, who expected this from PAX East? Like, no one.
Right?
The watershed is amazing.
Motherfucker in the back, like,
The Tom
what
Nook's
is that?
fishing, the bridge.
Yeah.
That bridge probably cost 250 bells.
You wonder how ridiculous it was? I saw reaction videos just to the booth. It wasn't even, I mean, to the whole display. It wasn't even to the game. No one was talking about their first impressions of the game. They're like, oh my god, it's so good.
I know, it's like
Dude,
so they're not missing E3 if they did this. Like, there's no way.
Oh hell no.
Unless E3 gets canceled, if it gets to a point where it's
We don't have any idea. I'm just saying, just because they said something today doesn't mean what's going to happen in 3 months. Like, we don't know. We don't know.
But they could still just do the direct. They could do their direct.
Yeah, the direct is going to happen regardless.
Yeah, the direct will happen regardless what happens with the E3.
Yeah,
This shit is
gonna
nuts.
You know what?
But I want to see more of this. I'm hoping to see like Breath of the Wild 2. And
Imagine
shit.
Robert's very angry he didn't go and shit. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
man.
Robert, why didn't you fucking go when I saw the booth? But it's like,
Also, the demo. They had demo of the game.
What was the thing?
how much? I mean, really, what are you gonna do in a 20-minute demo of Animal Crossing though?
Well, that's the thing.
Right.
Yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. A 20-minute demo, you're not really experiencing much.
You tell me you wanted to play it early? Is that what you tell me?
I thought I'm like, oh, imagine I went out of nowhere.
I'm gonna throw this out for everybody who doesn't know. I put in last week. I had vacation, so I really put a effort into Animal Crossing New Leaf, trying to just get to the depth of the game and kind of come to a conclusion whether I'd be interested in New Horizon. And after I got my house, I did my expansion. I went to do a bridge, and it's like, I don't know, 180,000 bells or whatever it was. And it's like, oh, the rest of the town can contribute, but you should definitely do it. So I put 10,000 bells down. I waited 2 days later. Still only 10,000 bells were.
Nobody's donating to that shit.
And I said, you know what? I'm out. Like the carrot just fell. The carrot just fell off the rope, and I'm not interested anymore in that. Because I'm like, you guys said I'm not. I know I'm not that far, but it's like, I'm collecting shells. I went on an excursion, filled up all the basket with all the stuff I could carry, traded it in, got money for it. I'm like, I'm not just gonna keep doing this every day. It's not fun to me.
I just imagine
Animal Crossing, my guy.
I imagine Juice being
It's just
like,
not fun. I mean,
imagine Juice picking up his 3DS and opening it up and looking at the bill, looking at no one donating me, and him just going, "Fuck this."
So you're telling me I gotta, because that's a lot of money to raise, plus the expansion on the house.
Over the course of months and stuff.
I know. I guess.
And also, think about it. Like, it's not just that. Like, I'm telling you, you get a lot of satisfaction. Like,
It's the satisfaction, man.
No, but also like donating.
It's a life sim.
Also, like donating to the museum and seeing your museum expand and seeing the bots build up and the insects build up, the bug collection.
Juice, like, how are you gonna feel when at night you want to chill? You're walking through your town. The super calm music. You're relaxing. You're like, oh, I want to talk to my neighbor a little bit. Oh, you can't because there's no bridge because you didn't pay for it. Now what you gonna do?
I should have chose one of the smaller ones. I should have chose the lamp or something, so it could have actually got accomplished. But I don't know. It's like, I was trying to ask you guys seriously. I don't know if you took it as that, but I was like, does it ever evolve past where you just pick up stuff, sell it for money, and like buy stuff towards the town or your house? Like, is there anything other than that?
I mean,
I assume there's more to it because people always geek out about like which animals are in the game and shit. So I imagine there's like, I don't know if it's relationships, but you're definitely having some sort of
Well,
interaction.
I got new neighbor, camo frog or whatever, and
So he's cool.
I'm just like, oh, and then you run into them, want to chat, and then they just tell you stuff about the game and then every once in a while, one asks you to find something, and
What I'll say is that it looks like, at least with New Horizons, they've fleshed out a lot more the interactions between the animals, which I always think they need to build upon, because now, if you notice, they just sound, if you read the dialogue in like the direct compared to like New Leaf, I just feel like they really are honing in on that, which I think they need to, because it can get repetitive just talking to the villagers. I will say that, at some point you're like, all right, I know what the fuck you're gonna say, bro. I'm not even gonna talk to
yeah,
you.
and then my axe
You
broke,
know,
and I can't buy another one because he just keeps putting a shovel and the fishing rod up there. Like, I'm like, come on, I need
you know
to.
how it's really easy to compare for me, Juice, because like I often talk about like atmosphere and that already gets by you a bit. You know how this is really easy to compare? You know when you play Breath of the Wild and you're like, damn, I spent like 3 hours of just walking around. I didn't even do anything. If you don't get that vibe from Animal Crossing, it's not for you.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I don't spend 3 hours without accomplishing something. I'm always
Yeah,
doing something in Breath of
and
the
I
Wild.
do, for example, like that you walk around, it's like chill and shit. You're just walking around enjoying the music. You know what? Ah, fuck, there's this fish that is still needed, and this is the season because in real time, this is the season. Like, fuck, we're at the end of the winter. That means in this month only there's this fish. I'm gonna go for this fish a little bit today, and then you just do that, and you're chilling, fishing, and that kind of shit. Like it's not about the stress. Fuck, I need this bridge. Where's money? Money, get money and shit. You're trying to like catch like 5 black sea bass and shit. You get like $5. Because trust me, in the end, if you just leave that bridge in 1 year, maybe villages would donate like $100 to that shit. You're not getting that from the village.
What I'm thinking is that I that's why I feel that New Horizons is going to be that greatness, because in all reality, like this one, it has essentially a checklist, almost of what you can do every day or for the next course of the year or whatever.
Yeah,
With
checklist would be nice.
and Nook Miles, I mean, if you've seen it, like it tells you, hey man, collect 10 fish today, and we'll give you some extra points. Or they'll be like, if you sell this blah blah 10 times, or if you manage to dig up 10 different things, or go to an island and see if you can find a different type of fruit for this type of thing, or anything. And I feel like that alone will give you incentive to actually fuck around with stuff and see something that you've never really tried before. And because you may not know what's in the game until you try it.
I did
Or,
I did like chopping down trees and just kind of clearing paths for walking and stuff where I like to walk.
and well, another thing also is that again, I feel like you would get. I mean, you like Mario Maker, you like making levels. You don't think you'd like designing a whole island, like actually breaking apart things
Yeah,
to see
after how many hours you got to get till you can do that? Probably
I don't know.
100. I think you should reconsider your 24-hour live stream and just do 24 straight days of an hour.
Yeah,
I think that would be way more productive than trying to do 24 straight.
I know, like the one thing with the 24 hours, like one of the things about that I want to do, at least for this new Animal Crossing, is that there's a ton of new music, and so every hour it's a new song, and I at least want to hear it. It's like one day in Animal Crossing.
Look at these idiots play this game, by the way. They keep trying to hit the shovel to pick up items. I do like that as soon as he hovered over it or something, it showed like his inventory, like on screen, like before, instead of hitting to pick it up and then hit X.
And that's how I know, like, honestly, I can honestly understand why New Leaf you wouldn't 100% get into it, but I feel like that's why I feel like New Horizons is that perfect entrance.
Yeah,
where
if I could get to the point where I can design my island.
I think
the Nook Miles.
Yeah, because that's a driving force in a lot of games now, is having objectives and challenges and stuff. So.
Exactly, and that's but the Nook Miles, if you notice, that's just pages long. Like it looks like they're really, really having just a lot of variety of things you could do, and basically saying everything, basically laying out everything that you could do, and say, hey, do this, and you're going to get rewarded for it. And I think that's huge. The everyday tasks that sometimes you don't think of, they'll show it, and I
we
think
got
that's
off
huge.
topic, so we're gonna have to go to the final final topic now, and that's, I mean, who knows? This might be really quick or take us the whole half hour.
Let's see.
Try to come up with a 2020 library or releases from Nintendo, published or developed. Because Animal Crossing, we know, March 20th. What is it? 18 days. So
Oh my god!
Less
and
than
Nintendo, unless something changes, they have it usually about 5 games, whether one of them's a published game or not. Because when they publish a game, they're putting money into it. I mean, it's not like they're just doing nothing. I mean, they're deciding to invest in a game for their system. So, last year we had Yoshi, and then it was Mario Maker, and then
Fire Emblem and Marvel,
Fire Emblem Marvel Ultimate Alliance. They funded that.
Astral Chain,
fully funded that game, I believe.
Luigi's Mansion.
Link's Awakening. Well,
Yeah,
Geez. I mean,
remake
Link's
still.
Awakening's it's a remake, so it's not just a remastered. So
Pokemon, and then
that was it. Pokemon.
because you don't count Damon and Mike. Wait, what about Dragon Quest?
No,
they had
'cause
nothing
that
to do with
was-
Dragon Quest.
Published by Nintendo, I don't think, was it?
I think
I wouldn't-
Daemon X Machina would be the only other published game.
Because that was also, that's on Steam now and stuff. So I don't know if maybe
Was it even published?
I
don't
that's
remember.
not, I think so.
Because that's Marvelous.
Who published Damon X Machina? Marvelous, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, Marvelous. That
Okay,
is
so they
Marvelous.
I'll
didn't
tell
count.
you in a second. It is.
That was not a second.
No.
So-
Marvelous, yeah.
So they did 8 last year, with 1 being a remake, and then 2 being, well, 1 being just published. The other, Astral Chain, I believe they probably fund. They own part of the IP, so.
Yeah, yes, I'm pretty sure they.
And then Pokemon's, Game Freak, but still, I mean that was 8 pretty major games overall, and then it was lighter in 2018. But it's usually 5 or 6 like major game releases and publishing. So we got Animal Crossing, and then
I guess.
I know Xenoblade Chronicles. I know there's a debate whether it's a remake or a remaster. It's they're
Point is,
they're
Hey, well, I don't
reworking the same game. It's not like they're starting from ground
this
zero.
don't count.
Well, it's not a remake. I don't care. It's definitely a remaster.
They're reworking. It's a remaster that they're adding textures and geometry to. That's how I look
Right.
at it. But
Also, that game is probably coming out pretty damn soon because
got rated.
Like
let's just throw them a bone and count. The,
April. It'll come out in April. It won't come out before.
I think it'll be May.
They're
I'm
gonna
just saying it
still
won't come out before.
drop it.
It won't come out before Animal Crossing. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no,
I think it's going to come at the end of the year.
so let's
What,
count.
Xenoblade?
Let's count Xenoblade Definitive Edition. We'll just throw a bone there. So let's try to come up with.
Well, do you want to count Pokemon Mystery Dungeon?
No,
I
no.
wouldn't count Pokemon. That's another
I
remake.
forgot about it.
No, that's a remake right there, son.
It is more of a remake, but I'm not counting that shit.
Which is also a
That's
DS.
a low tier. That's a small. For
Yeah,
Pokemon standard,
yeah,
that's small.
I don't think Xenoblade. I don't think. So.
I'm just
But
gonna throw
like
him
in
a
the last
bone.
podcast, we were begging for like more of the smaller titles. I think you should still count it.
I don't think
I'm
we should
begging
count
for
it.
new small titles, not remakes and
I don't
old
think
games.
remakes or
We'll be talking about push mode,
So-
new, not a remake.
Whatever.
Push
Even
mode.
if you, let's try to come up with 4 more games for the year for 2020. Realistic.
Okay, real quick question. Would we count? I don't know who's publishing it, but would
No.
you count No More Heroes of Nintendo? Okay.
Yeah, no, okay.
Let's try to come up with 4 legit games at Nintendo, and I mean that could include thinking Bayonetta 3 comes out this year.
That could include it. I don't. Maybe.
So,
are we
are
going
you
around?
going in order as we just toss in games here or
Just-
some shit?
I mean, somebody's got a game and could give an argument why they think it could
Well, I
be
have
out this year.
something like one thing I'm thinking of. I don't know if it's cheating because it's pretty like nondescript, but I'm pretty convinced we're gonna get some type of new Mario game. But I'm not saying it couldn't be a sports title or a platformer, but I'm convinced it's gonna be some kind of new Mario thing this year.
I
That's too easy.
I think it's going to be a 3D Mario game this year.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I could see Mario Odyssey 2 releasing this
Mhm.
year, which I mean would blow my fucking mind.
That would be their big fall title. That I'm good with that.
Retros game.
T, you good with Odyssey 2 or a 3D Mario game this year or not?
I'm totally good with that. Yes.
Okay, so we'll put that.
My only
Towards
thing
the
is,
end.
I was thinking honestly that maybe it could be a Paper Mario, because it's been 4 years since color.
Yeah, I would actually lean towards the Paper Mario more.
You say that like it matters to Nintendo how long it's been. They don't look at that shit like that.
No, I would agree with Robert. I think it's more of a Paper Mario. If it's a Mario game, it's Paper Mario.
The television systems are fucking.
They don't care
mad.
about Paper Mario.
I think if they're gonna do Paper Mario, we would know about it and it would be out in the first half type of game.
It's like T says, Nintendo doesn't care. Nintendo doesn't care how long it's been. It's been 16 years and have a goddamn F-Zero. Like,
Yeah, we'll come back to that if
I feel like television systems make like so many games within one time, and so I feel like they're already done with Three Houses for a while. I feel like
it's not.
they're doing they did Paper Mario now.
Three
That's why I
Houses
feel like-
was done in July and they got DLC coming out. I don't know.
No, the DLC just came out.
Yeah, but I feel like they have to be working on multiple games on it with
Yeah.
themselves.
But let's
It's
come
not
back.
Retro
Let's
Studios.
come.
It's not for doing that.
We'll come back to that.
Right.
Bayonetta 3. Who thinks 2020? I say yes.
Dude, it would blow my mind if that shit doesn't come out this year.
I think
to me.
so. Yeah.
I'm thinking not this year now.
October. I think October. I think that's-
October.
What do you think, Terrell?
It's hard. I'm gonna say yeah because they've been saying how well the development's been going.
All right, so
recently.
we'll have Bayo 3. So we got to come up with 2 more likely games, and then we can add to that if we want.
Oh, I thought we were each kind of going for some games.
No, we're just trying to decide.
I don't think.
Just try to decide.
Retro
as a group.
Studios' this game they've been working on for 8 years. That game.
What about the Pikmin 4? That's almost done. So that
I don't know how. That's the game that is coming out, yo, and I don't know how it's not out yet.
It's not coming.
I'm
gonna say, what if we do? They might do some of the maybe they'll do a Rhythm Heaven or something, you know?
Well, let's try to think. What came out in 2015 that potentially could have a sequel or something by now?
Okay, I have something that I have something like that. I think I was just gonna say. I think we could get a game this year that is a Splatoon game, but it's not actually like Splatoon 3 or some shit. You know, like maybe like some spin-off thing or like some platforming thing. I don't know, but I think we could see that.
Yeah.
I think the problem was the last time we
Expanding
heard
the lore.
the problem is we
The
heard
3D
the last,
action platformer.
the last time we heard about the people, they were like, "We're not working on another game," so it's I don't know.
Well, let's think of what else we had. Mario Maker,
Arms.
which already got a sequel.
I don't think it'd be Arms. I really don't.
Arms 2. Woo. Electric Boogaloo.
Way too soon. It'd be way too soon. The Arms, I don't think would sell that well with a sequel that quickly.
Yeah, a Splatoon spinoff would be dope.
It
Though.
ain't gonna sell that well regardless.
Any chance of Breath of the Wild 2 making out in 2020?
That's what I'm saying. Imagine they did a fucking 2017.
I think that's
again.
gonna
I
be
feel like that's March.
March 2021.
Yeah.
Oh,
So when you think of like some of the games we heard of, like Bayonetta, I see Breath of the Wild coming out before that. I could see Breath of the Wild at the end of this year, I think.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna make a wild prediction. I'm gonna say I think we might get a Star Fox either. This is hard. Hard.
Star Fox.
It's hard.
I think we're gonna start Tropics.
It's hard because I part of me
We're
thinks
gonna Star Star Wars before we get Star Fox.
I would
Sure,
I think we would get a Star Fox.
Oh man, you're funny.
I think that's possible. I think we might get
What
a Star
about a
Fox.
Monolith Sauce new game?
Dude, we might
I was
get a
thinking
trailer.
about that. Their action RPG.
We might get a trailer for. I don't know if we would get
I
especially with
think
Xenoblade coming
next
out this
year.
year.
I don't think this year.
Yeah, that's
though.
true. It's Xenoblade Chronicles coming out.
Yeah, I think
that
we
has nothing to do
might
with
get
this
a
game, though.
trailer.
Yeah, but that wouldn't hinder. I don't think that would hinder this new.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with this type of game.
And they're
This
not
is a
working
more
on
Zelda
that.
type of game.
That's what I wanted to like. I should look. I don't know if we know who's doing the definitive edition.
We don't because we've heard literally nothing of it.
Yeah.
Best joke ever. Star Fox.
I know. I think that ass we would get one.
Well, let's try to think of games that haven't had a sequel yet on Switch or a Wii U port, which kind of narrows it down.
I mean, if you want,
The only
Or what a Wii U port from 2018, I think they would 2020 would be okay. We can put a sequel out now to Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze because it's been on Switch for 2 years.
I doubt it because of
There
Metroid.
should be a DKC 3 coming out this
I
year.
doubt it because of Metroid.
Well, I think somebody else could easily be working on it.
that would depend. That would imply Nintendo gave it to somebody else.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think
want
they,
3D.
I
I want
totally,
3D.
I'm telling you, I could see like a Rhythm Heaven or a WarioWare or something like that coming out.
How about this way? I think we would get a Kirby game before we get another Donkey Kong game.
Wario World 2.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
They always put out multiple Kirby games on the same engine, so it would not
Fucking
surprise.
Kirby.
They need to work on that engine.
That was a good. What do you
It
mean?
looked good, but
They need to work on the
The
gameplay.
game didn't look good.
that looked like a game. Either
The game looked great, but the gameplay was just come on, man.
I thought it looked.
Oh no, I can understand that.
I thought it
argument.
looked
That's
good
fine.
until wasn't there moments in the game where the camera zoomed in like at the end of a level and it was like, oh, it doesn't look.
You mean the cutscene at the end of the level? That what you're talking about?
Cutscenes.
Yeah, it definitely didn't look as good, but still, they
I don't know, man.
they could
I
do
could-
more.
Kirby is one texture.
They could do
Go
more
back-
than that.
Go back and watch. Go back.
There's
and
no
look.
reason that game should have been 30 frames per
That
second.
game
Not
was-
that makes a
game was
huge
pretty
difference for
fucking
Kirby.
Gorgeous, all things considered.
It's a clean ass game. It's clean, but
It was a clean ass game. Don't act like it wasn't clean.
It didn't. I mean, it looked good, but
Go pull up some footage, goddammit.
I like the Rainbow Curse better personally. That art style.
You like the art style, but I think Star Allies still had a clean
Let's
look
look.
to it.
I'll pop it up here.
I
They
do.
do that.
That
See, they
music,
do that because of the fact that if you make a Kirby like in 30 frames per second, it's more like an action movie.
Oh, you're a dick.
It's more cinematic that way.
yeah, I mean the music from Rainbow Curse was awesome. Man.
Mhm.
Kirby music always had pretty good music.
That was just a fun game. I really like that game.
I thought it was great. Yeah, I love that one.
All right, so let's,
yeah,
have we
besides
come up
the
with
basis-
anything? Okay, so
What do you have written down?
I have
we- I
Odyssey
think
2
we
and
should
Bayonetta
all-
3.
I think we should each have our own two specifics.
I want
Like
to try to
two-
come up with a realistic list that we could look back on and say,
It's hard to come up with a realistic. It's hard to come up with a realistic list that we have to like, one list for everybody. Because realistically, we're not
well,
seeing.
we're trying to
Bayonetta 3
make the
this year.
decision. Like it's just a democracy here where somebody says a game and we vote. Hey, do you think this could happen? Because I want to just have a.
Do you think no chance of
list.
like a WarioWare? I mean, it's third year of
Kirby look clean as fuck. I mean, granted,
This
this
is cutscenes. Come on.
third year of Switch.
If the game looked like this, it'd be different. I'd agree with you. No, it's a good looking game for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty clean looking.
It's clean. It's clean. That's
I like
not a
that.
complaint at all.
the game is
I had a
good.
game.
This
See, the
level
thing
is boring as fuck looking, but just like
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
this
wish
is the
they
overworld.
need to make a damn 3D Kirby, yo. It's ridiculous.
it's just like ukulele. After a while, I was like, man, this whole shit looks all
You
the
don't tell me
same.
that doesn't look clean.
It looks clean as shit.
Yeah, my complaint
That
is not. how it
looks
looks.
pretty clean. I'm just saying.
It looks clean.
My
but I
complaint is
didn't-
that
I had to pick up the
you can
game.
just stand there and your fucking allies will take
Mhm.
everything off the board.
Yeah,
Fucking beat
yeah.
the whole game for you.
Yeah, it's too. I can understand the argument. It was too easy. I can.
Oh, I love that
But,
waterfall, man.
Something Retro
It's not like
said a
Rainbow
while
Curse.
ago, like that when this come out, early 2018.
Yeah, and then
I mean, this probably didn't ever. This probably never was a Wii U game, but where did this engine come from for this game? I
oh,
wonder.
they made that. They
Was
made
it the
that.
3DS engine that they just made added some things to work on the Switch? I think they could do much more than what they did with this. I think a
Well, that's
2D
what I'm
game.
saying. That's why I said I think
be
we
more
get
than
I
this.
think we get a Kirby game before we get a Donkey
I know
Kong.
they could. I think they just want to get this thing out.
Yeah,
I definitely think we'll get another Kirby game before we get another DK game.
I mean that's
Or
not a.
or Star
They
Fox.
do release 3 Kirby games per system usually, so that's
That's what I'm saying.
pretty,
They'll reuse this.
not going out on a limb with that one, but I mean,
I mean,
This
but
game was also weird because for some reason the menus are in 60 frames, but the fucking gameplay isn't.
it's because of the 4 characters on screen too. Probably that's what held it back.
I would have.
3D Kirby game. Shit.
The allies are too fucking good in this game. That was the problem.
OP like a mother.
Even a fucking diehard Kirby fan like Just Jess, who
You get to that doesn't look good.
even Just Jess, who
Fucking
has trouble being
great.
negative, played the game, and she's just like, oh, I don't think I like it. She was like all bummed out because it's just kept. She's like, oh, I want to get that power up, and then the ally just destroyed.
I like going to snatch that shit.
Just went and destroyed the enemy, and she's just getting frustrated, and then she got mad, and she's just like, I don't like it. But look at this. I mean,
we're
we're 25 minutes in, and now it's back to the same level one level setting. You know, they just kind
Well,
of.
I mean, we're in the first world, to be fair. I mean, this is Kirby to an end.
I think they reused. Looks like they reused a lot of
We
the.
need more like epic. Dude, I love Epic Yarn, yo. I think Epic Yarn was awesome.
I don't understand that argument personally.
Dude, that variety of worlds and shit.
Talk
come
about
on.
boring. Epic Yarn is one of the most boring.
Epic Yarn was. I could fall asleep playing that.
Epic
Yeah,
Yarn
Epic
is
Yarn is
style
boring.
over substance.
But I would love
Man.
to see that art style, you know,
No way,
in
dude.
HD. Actually,
Bro, Epic Yarn is such a cakewalk of a game. I'm like, why the fuck am I playing this?
Man, what do you mean?
You can't die, am I right?
Now look, I bought it. I bought it on the Wii and played it, and I was like, this is boring.
I
as
bought
shit.
it too. I couldn't. I mean,
Yeah, well, you know what? At least
I didn't get
there's-
very far before I was like, really? This
I
game?
think I got to like the second world, and I was like, fuck this.
What? Wait, so you, dude? What?
That has to be the most boring 2D
It's such
platformer
a
I've.
boring fucking game.
I beat it, but it was like work playing that game. It was just
It's like all the
bored.
challenges
Yeah.
and finding all the shit. I'm like, well,
I
it ain't
understand.
there
Kirby-
ain't a challenge. You just gotta explore everywhere, which is
like, people
boring.
talk
and-
about how this game is easy. Epic Yarn was way easier.
I don't know about that, but
Bruh, what was hard about
Epic Yarn. Hold on.
Bro, you
Epic
never-
Yarn didn't play itself. Like, this game can literally play itself. Like,
Yeah,
I
there's-
don't think
I
Epic Yarn.
don't know. Epic Yarn
if you're
gets
trying to
too
get everything, there were some of the like vehicle sections that got pretty frustrating because like you get
Like,
one
again,
shot.
You just got to World 2. like,
Yeah.
I've seen. I mean, I've seen gameplay the later stages.
Yeah, what's up with this strong ass argument? You only play 2 words.
All right, let's come up with games. Let's get off this topic.
I'm just making a point. That's all I was saying.
well, you're-
So, who,
That's all I was saying. Y'all trying to hate on me, man.
all in favor of a Star Fox game?
Say what?
I said from the start, I think we're definitely gonna get a new Star Fox game and not too fast. So I will vote for that. I vote for that before.
Yeah, I
So
put my
for,
hand up. I put my motherfucking
You know
hand
what,
up.
that actually reminds me of a song.
Oh, here
You're
we
the
go.
king of wishful thinking. That shit.
So, Robert, do you say Star Fox this year?
I do not.
Okay, neither do I. T. So that one got a close. That one we'll put that down below just in case nothing else comes
What
up.
about
Fuck is
what about,
democracy?
like, with the fucking Mario?
That shit happens. I will blow my fucking load. But,
Well, I want, bro. I want a live reaction. That's what I want.
on camera.
Oh shit. Okay, what were the other options, Juice?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I was trying to think of games that were out in like 2014, 2015 that maybe would be getting a sequel now.
Mario
But
Kart.
it's rumored, guys. It's a rumor. What about a surprise like a Diddy Kong Racing or something?
Oh hell no.
Ooh, that would be
Hell
cool.
no.
Have you
Well, I
done
wouldn't specifically vote for Diddy Kong Racing, but I would vote for like a surprise thing of that caliber.
Because I think
That's something that would make more sense than a Mario Kart sequel.
because that could exist because it's a different type. It's similar, but it's not the same exact game. So it's not gonna feel redundant. It's gonna feel fresh compared to Mario Kart, and it's Mario Kart's successful, so it has a good chance of being people buying it. I don't know that it will. That one's kind of a shot in the dark, but I wouldn't be surprised
I'm trying to think what else.
because we don't know anything. It's hard to come up with stuff when you don't have even like.
But
Other
the
than,
problem with Diddy Kong is like, what characters are you gonna put in it? Because Rare owns most of them motherfuckers.
well,
Well, maybe you just do what Diddy Kong did and you put in a bunch of new shit.
yeah, put in fucking Chibi Robo.
Like, can
or
you
somebody.
imagine if Nintendo would be working
that's
on like
true.
a new? Let's say Nintendo's working on a new game, a new platform that they're keeping secret, and then that character they would actually put it in that Diddy Kong game, like shit like that, you know?
See, that's a lot of wishful thinking right there.
They should do that. Have like Diddy Kong be like, hey, we got all the D tier characters right here.
That's what Juice just said. Something
Oh,
like
wait.
Chibi Robo and
Cool.
Real quick.
that would
What about
work. I'll be down with that.
what about a new 2D Metroid?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
That's cool.
That's true.
Yeah.
I actually.
I think after Samus Returns, considering how kind of shit that's sold in general, and then with Prime 4 now, I doubt they would release anything Metroid before Prime 4.
Samus Returns was 3DS's fault, not the game's fault.
Yeah, the game was fine. It wasn't
No,
like
they
that's
just put
not
it on
the
the- they just put it on the
3DS's
wrong
fault or the
system.
game's fault. That's a fan base's fault. People were crying for like bitches
Oh,
for
You
years.
put that out in the. You put that out
Well, I
alongside
already
the
said
hype.
that, so that's.
You put it out alongside the hype of the Switch and Mario Odyssey coming out. Like, come on, like.
I
On that
bought.
old 240p ass 3DS, get out of here.
oh shit. God damn.
I'll say I'll put 2D Metroid down. I'll vote for that.
I think I like that one.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
I'm down for that.
Robert.
Yeah, I vote for it.
Okay, so that's on. That's on. Sorry, Retro.
What's the team that made
That's
Samus
not a
Returns?
democracy. This is a dictatorship. You guys are voting really bad shit.
What's the studio that made it? The one that made
Mercury.
Mercury Steam.
Yeah, because we don't know what they've been developing anyway.
Yeah.
or what
I
they've
think
been working-
Raid
killing,
Shadow
so-
Legends is like buying your votes or some shit.
Oh God, I'm so tired of that fucking.
Let's
ad.
come up with one more game.
Oh boy.
I'm trying to rock my head about what.
How about I'm telling you, what about a WarioWare?
How about like legit a new Pikmin? I'm not gonna say Pikmin 4, but like a new Pikmin game.
Well, wouldn't that be Pikmin 4?
Well, they could call it something. They could just call it Pikmin.
They could do
and then
Pikmin
something.
Happy.
Hey, it's Pikmin.
Would you want a Pikmin spinoff though? In all seriousness,
Dude, I want
We
Yeah,
already
I
got
would.
that. Nobody wanted it. We got that already.
a Pikmin.
Oh.
I just don't know if I don't know if Miyamoto. I don't know if they've given him any projects to work on, like major like Pikmin, and that's his baby. I don't think
That's
anybody
his
else.
baby, yeah.
Project Giant Robot, dude.
And he's doing the movie thing, so I don't know. I wouldn't be. I'd be happy if they had Pikmin 4.
What a fail that experiment was. Oh.
But we'll,
bro.
so anybody
Oh,
who's Pikmin 4? I'm getting a yes.
No, I don't think so. No.
Hail to the no.
I say
I'm not-
yeah.
That's not realistic to me.
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think it's like
Is
next.
this wishful thinking list or is this like actual?
I mean, realistically, this is
It makes-
Wishful thinking.
It
The
makes-
shit you guys put on this list already.
It makes sense though that Pikmin's primed to have a new game. You know.
Nah.
Well, you might as well throw retro game on there too. Fuck you guys.
I like how Robert's in the back like, nah, man. No.
Retro sci-fi action
All right.
adventure game. Put
So
it
while
on
we're
there.
thinking of that, they're gonna need at least one more Wii U port to fill out
Oh
fill in
shit.
some
Dude,
gaps.
It's either Mario or Fatal Frame, I would think.
Dude, it's gonna kill me if they put 3D World out.
Ah.
I think it's Fatal Frame personally.
What was the rumored one? It was
The rumor one was
3D World and Pikmin 3, I think.
Yeah.
Fatal Frame makes too much sense. That's why you ain't gonna see that shit.
If it's
How
Pikmin,
about Fatal Frame 6?
if it's Pikmin, I'm gonna flip my shit. Like I would want that to be Fatal Frame because that game was just fucking amazing.
Retro, I hear that phrase all the time. Would you literally like flip your shit?
I would take a dub,
Take it out of
lift
the
it up, and
toilet.
flip it over.
Scoop it up out the toilet, flip that shit up in the air, and put it back in the toilet and flush.
No,
Ah,
dude, if they
I want
can,
to see that shit on camera. I gotta see it on camera.
You gotta see that shit literally on camera.
All right, what about
that fucking be trash. It's ridiculous.
what about Captain Toad Treasure Tracker 2?
They
Shut up.
should. That shit should come out.
They won't keep fucking with one. How we gonna get two? They keep putting that new shit for one. It's like, what the fuck are you guys
They
doing?
just added something?
You just made a new game already.
Remember
Well,
they
the
added
VR stuff also they added.
18 new levels in that shit.
Yeah, they put DLC on that
That's
too.
a whole chapter for a second game. What
You have
the
to
fuck?
buy it,
Right?
or-
Shouldn't that just been a new fucking game? What the fuck?
It's so stupid.
Calm down.
No,
That shit
it
makes no sense.
drives me crazy. Cause fuck.
It drives me to drink.
I do not understand Nintendo. They did all that shit for Captain Toad, but we took 6 months to get some new shit for Mario. What is it? Make Mario Maker 2. Took
Yeah.
6 months for some shit for that. But you putting out fucking new levels and shit for some old ass game from Wii U game. What the fuck are y'all doing?
From 2014. Fucking
2014 game. So what
Yeah,
the fuck are you guys doing, man?
Mario Maker 2 is like fucking dead, and they try to
It's
put.
dead.
They put out fucking Link. You can make Zelda levels with music and everything, and still people didn't play it.
Oh my god!
They put out a 3DS version too. Forgot about that. Thank you, Donnie Artist. Donnie Artist, a 3DS version. Fucking 18 new levels.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Here, meanwhile, your new game is fucking dying.
What about,
When they finally do add some shit, they had that janky ass multiplayer shit. 2 frames per second adds bullshit.
Yeah, unplayable fucking friends list.
It's like, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing, Nintendo?
How many times they're gonna release that game? It came out 3 fucking times, just like with Xenoblade.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I've been sick I've been quiet and sick for about 3 days, so it's finally coming out now.
Xenoblade
All my
Chronicles.
backup.
Xenoblade Chronicles getting 3 releases. Fucking Captain Toad got 3 releases. Fucking Hyrule Warriors 3 releases. What the fuck?
Right.
And
well, that's because Captain Toad is a Jeep. But I mean, they need to they need to release a Captain Toad 2. It's ridiculous.
now
but...
think about what I just said. All these 3 releases, and then just think about what Microsoft just is trying to do with.
Oh, for
You
sure.
fucking buy one game and play it across multiple. It's just like, I was thinking, because somebody was calling me out for the CEMU later, whatever, CEMU, and I'm like, well, I own the game, like so I don't
Yeah, I
feel
saw
like
that. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
and they're like, oh, legally it's not. Then somebody put like all the reasons it's illegal to, it's pirating and stuff, and I'm like, all right, Nintendo, come at me, and I'm gonna fucking start a class action lawsuit for reselling the same game on multiple systems over multiple generations instead of fucking just having my shit carry over, you know, like I was just like thinking about everything I would use to point out, and that's shit like that. It's like, how many times you got to buy Super Mario World on the virtual console, or fucking, you know, it's like, how many times I think they're gonna resell the same fucking games. You're gonna get on me for
you have the game, you're allowed to have a backup. Get out of here.
downloading a game that I already purchased. I'll go buy the fucking Wii U version and never open it if that's what it takes to be legal. Because I would buy the PC version. Obviously, now that I've played it, I would buy an official version because it's just nice to you know.
I mean,
But anyway, let's get back to.
I like video games.
how about a Kid Icarus, or I don't know.
I want it, but I don't think it's real.
Honestly,
But I mean, like, you know, something like that where it's like, oh shit, I didn't think they were gonna make that a surprise, kind of like.
yeah, we should come up with some. Metroid 2D Metroid would be kind of a surprise, but something that's. Well, let me just get a vote on Donkey Kong, another Donkey Kong Country game, because I think that's got a chance.
No chance.
No
I
chance.
don't think
How about a
No
yes?
chance? Are you kidding me? That's the
That
easiest shit they can do.
that's
do
why it
that
won't
shit.
happen. Remember?
No, that's
T-
why they'll do it. What the fuck?
No, that's not why it won't happen.
Didn't I just go on a rant about fucking Mario Maker 2 and
I don't know. I think that's true.
I don't think it's true, because that would imply them giving it to a different developer, because I know Retro is not working on it.
No, I think
how you know that? Retro ain't doing shit.
They've had to have been doing something the last.
one.
That's what we say. We all say that, but we can't point to
Honestly, the
shit.
game could have just went through development hell and they just said, fuck it. That's my guess.
Yeah, what if they were actually making like some 3D Donkey Kong and they just scrapped it or some shit?
Yeah, they could have just.
It's time for Retro to close, because this is not the first time they would have been working on some shit that just got scrapped.
It's pretty sad that we can't even come up with 4 games we think will come out this year.
Dude,
I can't. But we have to agree on
Like
it.
realistically.
it's just Nintendo. It's difficult to predict.
Nintendo will come out of left field. That's the problem.
I mean, literally, again, if you go back to last
Or
year,
right down center field.
actual chain, I would never think of.
I'm just
or-
saying, like, fucking.
Yeah.
I never would have thought Luigi Mansion 3. I kept saying, I was like, 1 year, but not this year. That definitely not.
Well,
Yeah.
also think about it, like, even in 2016, 2015, when they showed off Star Fox, teased Star Fox, we were like, oh, that's
I don't know.
unexpected. Yeah, like, I didn't expect that. So, hell, we could get a new F-Zero.
What about 3DS
I
games?
expected it because there was like movements for Star Fox when Wii U.
It's true.
3DS
We
game?
we can get a new F-Zero because Miyamoto, you guys said, has been overworking, so there's no time to think of a new cool gimmick to make F-Zero.
Well, that's what he said. So
They don't
What's
need
the la-
new.
What was the last game he worked on?
Probably Star Fox Zero.
Star Fox Zero, probably.
Oh, he didn't touch.
I
He
feel
didn't do.
I feel that needs a
Yeah, that turned out great.
Mario Odyssey. You don't think he was working on Mario Odyssey? Or
He
no?
doesn't have much. All he
I think
does is
I think he oversaw it.
He
At
gave
this
pointers,
point-
yeah, he
if you listen to
oversees
it, then
those.
they just bring him stuff and he plays it, and then he says
Is it cool?
yay or nay. But at this, if you ever seen him play, he's not very good at playing the games anymore. Like, I mean, dude's pretty old,
Yeah.
and he's not very good at them. So, because he at E3 when they play in Odyssey or Breath of the Wild, he was like terrible at it. And
Yeah.
it's like, but
Yeah,
he
he doesn't need to be good with it. He just wants to make them.
No,
Yeah,
he doesn't make. I don't. He's not making games anymore. He's saying, oh well, you should add this to make it
Yeah.
better. Like I remember he did that for. We talked about DKC returns. He was the one that said the ground pound and whatnot. He was the one that gave him the idea to add that. So he does that.
And
kind
like
of stuff.
not everybody can be like Sakura, who does like 4-on-4 by himself with 2 hands and shit. you know?
Right. Sakurai's a little younger, but
Mhm.
you know he can do.
He's
more.
also a god among men.
That's true.
Yeah. Man, it's difficult. I don't know. I think it's gonna come like June and everything's gonna be wrong and it's gonna be a completely different lineup and we'll be like,
But
wow.
is anybody worried about Mario out of
Yeah, of
Miyamoto's hands?
Of course, it's gonna be like
I'm not. That new team is dope. They doing great work.
of course it's gonna be a different lineup, Robert, because you guys are voting for shit games.
Shit games, you don't want Mario Odyssey too? Oh, I forgot.
No,
you
that's
he doesn't
true,
think it's a
like,
platformer. So
I said we would get a new. I said I would get a new Mario game and shit. But you guys are like, oh, Bayonetta 3, we're gonna get like fucking I don't know,
Bayonetta 3 was
on the
announced
list now.
2.5 years ago. I mean,
2D
it's
Metroid, dude. 2D Metroid. And
I thought we
yeah.
picked the Mario game. What are you
I
talking
can
did.
say Paper Mario though. Paper Mario I think is more likely, yo.
you think Paper Mario more likely than
I do too.
sequel
actually.
to the third best selling game or fourth
Yeah,
best
actually, I
selling game
would
on
say
Switch?
Paper Mario is more likely.
No, I
don't think they even. If Intelligent Systems didn't just put out Fire Emblem like last July, I'd be with you.
I feel like Intelligent System does a lot of shit.
Yeah,
They
Intelligent
do.
System has their hands on a lot of different games.
I mean, even last generation, you know, they had the.
But that was full on development though for Fire Emblem. They may be dipping their toes in other shit.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem was full on
But if-
development. That's
I mean,
all
No,
they're
but
all
so
in.
was Paper Mario. Paper Mario's a full on development too.
Yeah, Paper
And they
Mario.
put out
Paper
Colors
Mario
last-
is not a very big franchise either, so
Yeah.
I'm just
And
trying to
Nintendo
think
made
of
sure of
something
that.
big for the holiday. That's
Well, Pokemon. Oh no,
they
that's
don't have
another deal.
Pokemon.
No, they have the DLC. That's it.
Which is
Well,
essentially.
it could be a big game. But look what they did with Mario Party. God damn.
Yeah,
Oh,
Who saw Mario Party selling that?
Mario
No one.
Hey, relax.
I just thought of one. 1-2 Switch 2.
What do you mean 1, 2, switch 2, 3?
No,
1, 3
that's
switch.
3 switch. 1, 2, 3 switch, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 switch.
Oh Jesus.
Wait, will we switch after the 4 or before the 4?
No, it's 1.
What
Let's
about,
call that game
uh,
what it was. Let's call that game what it was, a fluke, and move on. That shit is not.
What about
happening.
It made money.
Labo?
They don't give a fuck.
Labo Kit
What
5.
about Labo Ocean?
They will do more Labo shit.
Labo
guarantee
VR
you that.
Ocean Exploration.
But how much
That-
Labo shit?
Yo, who
That'd
would have
be cool.
predicted Ring Fit? Remember Ring Fit? Oh, you didn't count Ring Fit, dude.
What?
Yeah, I didn't.
Wait, you said like Labo. You said like Labo Ocean Exploring. Can you go underwater?
No.
Are there caves
It'd
underwater?
be like Endless Ocean meets Labo VR, so it'd be
Bitch, you
super
drown.
shallow.
That's why you can't go underwater.
Very
Alright.
shallow shit.
We gotta come up with one last game. What's it gonna be, guys?
The
I'm
Donkey Kong one. Go for the Donkey Kong one.
gonna go. No.
We had three. We had 3 votes, so we technically.
I say we got
Wait,
it.
who were the 3 votes?
I think T, me, and Retro.
No one thinks of WarioWare.
I
No.
think Wario World.
That would be. I might throw that in additionally as like a little small title that
I think WarioWare is done.
I like WarioWare, but it never really did much for me on the console. I like the handheld,
Yeah, it's a handheld game.
which the Switch is a handheld, but
What about Smooth Moves?
that was
Smooth
trash
Moves?
compared to Twisted. Going from Twisted to Smooth Moves, I
Twisted
was
was fucking amazing.
hugely.
What
disappointed.
about DIY? Remember,
We'll put
What about Game and Wario?
I'll put Warrior World down there as a little, extra game, but not the fourth game.
Okay. So what about Pikmin 4? Psych, man.
New Super Mario Brothers Switch.
All right, who says Pikmin 4 is 2020? I say yeah.
I
No.
think 2020.
I say yeah, but ain't calling it Pikmin 4.
Well, that's already enough. I ain't gonna worry about that.
I would say maybe a Mario Sports title, like a collection again or something, like a Mario Sports mixed-a-thon.
That's not
Mario
out of the
Sports
realm.
Wave Runners with F-Zero. Just to piss everybody off.
I would that would seems like pretty likely to get a golf or Mario Strikers.
I would like the Strikers. That'd be fun.
What do you guys think? Mario Sports title?
I
Yeah.
think a sports title is
Yeah, I think
about.
that's likely. Yeah.
I think it's been a long time.
That could be a summer.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Strikers or baseball.
Strikers. Well, maybe next level games could balance both or something,
And
Yeah.
somebody in the chat said Federation Force 2 a while ago, and I forgot to mention it. So that's
I would actually like
next
that.
level, baby. They're
I would like it, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
I would like it if it's not a co-op experience.
Oh, but we'd be able to play it on
Well,
the
we will.
console.
How often?
Yeah, the
would
way
it
we did on 3D.
the play we did it that one time.
Yeah,
on
we
the
did that.
3DS.
And I beat the game that night. Remember?
What pissed me off about that is they had
Pitch stick.
an awesome game engine that worked with the 3DS. The new 3DS worked really well with the stick, with the right little thumb thing. And then why didn't they just the co-op stuff should have been a mode on top of a spin-off that
A core game. Yeah.
Whatever.
I agree with that.
All right, so we got some games here. We got Animal Crossing, we got Xenoblade Definitive Edition, we got Mario Sports Game, Bayonetta 3, 2D Metroid, Odyssey 2, and a WarioWare or whatever. I put Warrior World for some reason.
Whoa,
As just a possible. What about any? Well, we already getting Xenoblade as the remake or remaster. I think they'll probably get one of those every year now. With
But there's gonna be another Wii U port.
and a Wii U port. So what do you? I don't want to say 3D World because we already voted for a 3D Mario game.
Yeah, but they obviously don't care with New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and then Mario Maker. I mean, maybe they might not care.
Yeah.
Which is be fucked up, man. If they release 3D World and then they put like new stages and shit, I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah,
Fucking
I think
good dick.
if they did 3D World, then that means no Odyssey 2. We'd have to change our list. I guess we could put.
I think you know what it's gonna be. Watch it be Pikmin 3. It'd be
Yeah,
so
let's put
fucked
Pikmin.
up.
I'm gonna put Pikmin 3.
It'd be so fucked up, man.
For what, next year?
No,
For this?
for this year, a Wii U port that comes
Oh.
out this year.
That'd be so fun. Why do they? To me, they
They
should be
usually
doing,
put them at the beginning of the year.
they should be doing 3DS ports, not no games. Wii U ports.
We get Ever Oasis HD.
3DS ports
That's more
gonna
work.
take a
Oh,
lot
yes,
more
Ever
work. Dude.
Oasis.
Ever Oasis HD.
You can't
Yeah,
take
can we get
3DS
that?
character models and stuff and just put them in HD like a snap of the finger. You have
Right.
that's all new
That's
textures.
why I would rather them do that though. Like
'Cause
Yeah,
a
just
port-
press the HD button.
A port is literally just transferring the code to work on Switch, and then because the Switch has more power, it just can run. Yeah, they add some stuff. They had some games they had more than others. But to take a 3DS game, it's like that's what they're doing for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition because the Wii is, it's ahead of the 3DS visually. But
Well, look at Monster Hunter.
look how much, yeah, look what Monster Hunter, whatever that one, Generations looked like on the Switch. It didn't look, very. It wasn't a very pleasing.
It looked
game.
like a 3DS game.
Yeah,
That was up-resed.
It is
So-
a 3DS game.
and
I know,
that's-
that's the point. We don't want that.
And I mean, maybe they could make like 3D Land in the 3D World engine. I don't know how that works. If that could just be a copy and paste situation or not, or they could just.
What about a Dark Moon port?
I'd love that until I played the game again, and after Luigi's Mansion 3, I'm like, oh yeah, it cuts you off in the middle of a mission and takes you all the way back, and you got to repeat this.
That is a handheld game.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Plus,
I'm drowning in
we
ports.
definitely wouldn't get that because of the DLC they're releasing soon.
Yeah. That ain't happening.
I don't know what it is lately. I just don't even care about DLC anymore. I don't know what. I was never like a huge DLC guy, but Luigi's Mansion 3, I forgot that DLC was coming out. I don't care. I didn't. The one DLC I should buy is Torna. I don't know why I haven't. That's kind of a full, a small new game. It's not.
Wait, what game?
Torna.
Oh, yeah, Torna was great.
I should have got that. I don't know why.
I hate the lighter end of it, but that's about it.
Well, you could just buy the game standalone.
Yeah. But as far as like DLC, like I don't know if it's fuck, we're out of time. Damn it. I was going to say like I feel like when they said Breath of the Wild 2 was started off as the DLC for Breath of the Wild, and I was like that's what I paid ahead of time thinking that's what I was going to get. In my mind it was after you beat Ganon and you're...
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and it's like, what we actually got, now that I think about it, I was at work today actually like, I'm kind of mad that I paid that. It was on me. I'm mad at myself for spending the 20. I mean, the DLC made me explore Hyrule again, which I enjoyed, but what we got was the second option that probably they threw together in a way shorter period of time, and then they took their idea and made Breath of the Wild 2, which in the end, it's going to be... I'm guessing amazing.
I'm okay with that.
But the fact that was their initial idea, and then what we got was some secondary idea, then it's like...
Well, I mean, did you want to wait till this year to get that DLC?
No.
Right, so they had to make a decision.
So I definitely not buying any more season passes, any more fighting passes. I didn't buy the fighting pass, but please don't give me the next fighter pass.
Fine, he'll take it if you give it to him.
I mean, I've used it, but...
This shit now, I still... There's characters I haven't bought. So.
Did you just say don't give me the next fighter pass?
I mean, I used the first one.
If somebody wants to give Juice the next fighter pass, give it to me then.
Yeah, give it to Retro.
Give it to me. How dare you?
Give it to Retro.
Is it gonna be a pass?
The fuck?
Because you're living with mom's house. You should have money to buy a fucking fighter pass. Retro's out here living on his own. Long distance relationship.
He got money. No, he's out here balling going to New York every other fucking weekend. Damn.
Yeah, bringing coronavirus and shit over here.
Yeah, even in your mouth, in your pants too.
But anyway, we're gonna wrap up this podcast. Another good one, good discussion, and it's hard to keep them under 2 hours, man. Even without Clocked It here, one less person.
We used to go well above 3 hours back in the day.
I know.
Or 2 hours, I meant.
Then y'all motherfuckers.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I stopped listening back to our podcast about a year ago until the last like 4, and I'm like, man, we have some good ass discussions. Like, there's no other Nintendo podcast I'd rather listen to than re-listening to us. That's
a little biased, but I can't disagree.
Not little, it's very biased.
Well, it's very biased, but I think we're telling the truth. I don't think there's... Can somebody in the chat please tell us?
Somebody direct me to a podcast that's good.
I would love to hear. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to be an ass. I would really like to hear.
It has to be one where there's not some guy who says, well, I can't play that Nintendo kitty shit. If they have one person that says that, then their whole podcast
I'm out.
Is null and void. Like, I'd rather listen to a bunch of Xbox guys talking shit, joking around. I don't care if they say that, but if it's a Nintendo podcast and somebody's like, I don't play that kitty shit.
Does that exist? I don't think they would last.
Well, there's one that had that I Live and Leveled that started getting into that territory. He added a couple guys who were just totally against Nintendo, and I'm like, how?
Yeah, we just dropping names like a month.
Like, I can't listen to this anymore. You got.
I think it's very easy. If you're against Nintendo, you're against gaming.
Yep, there we go.
Basically.
Wrapped it up. That's done.
I mean, if you're closed off to Nintendo, then you're more than half the industry you're closed off to. It's like,
I just don't understand.
Go play your Call of Duties and your fucking Battlefields and your fucking Maddens, and 2Ks. Yeah, I don't.
You go pay your Pokemons and your picking men and all that stuff.
I grew up with Nintendo, but
because you pick men, that's why you like that game. I'm dead. I'm dead.
I grew up with Nintendo. They didn't grow up with me, man. That's all I gotta say. That was a good one, and I'll laugh a lot more at that when I re-listen to the podcast. 'Cause
That's how you close a motherfucking podcast. All right, there.
all right, so thanks everybody for tuning in.
Don't pick me, I pick my men.
With that, we're calling it night. We'll see you next week.